When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend.
Good night, or good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're listening from around the world in the Eastern Caribbean. This is the Make We Talk program with yours truly, Jeffrey T. or Jeffrey Tavares. Our guest will be coming in momentarily. This evening, we're going to have Robert Finzi Smith, Luke George Cook, Herb Nelson Jr., and also we're going to have hail from St. Mary, from Portland rather, Ian Bell, or Colin Bell. He'll be coming on this evening. But until they come on, I will be on speaking about, is gunmen in charge of Jamaica? Where is the leadership of the Jamaican government? That's our topic this evening. And when we sit down and we look what is going on in the land of wood and water, it grieves our heart. Because gunmen has no, in other words, they don't fear the law. Gunmen don't fear the law. They're above the law. So they can do what they feel like to do. Because when you see gunmen can be so blatant to attack a bank in Manchester in broad daylight. In broad daylight, they attack the bank. And that's to show you that the criminals of Jamaica don't respect the laws of Jamaica. And they have a right not to respect the laws of Jamaica because the gun that they are carrying, the guns that these criminals have, neither the JCF nor the JF look like they don't have it. It looks like they don't have it one bit. They don't have it at all. And it begs to ask the question, where is the money going towards crime and violence in Jamaica? Because if our security forces do not have the capability and the know-how and the equipment and vehicles to solve the crime that we're facing in Jamaica, how can the crime stop? When the leaders of our country fail to give the people, the members of the JCF, a salary increase or ballistic vests and bullets and proper uniforms. If they fail to give the people what they're supposed to get, then that is to show you that something is wrong somewhere. You're so right. Tanya is bad man and gunman and big man and whatever man in charge of Jamaica. They are the people who's in charge of Jamaica. Those are the people who are in charge of our country. Yet we have a prime minister who tells us that we will sleep with our doors and windows open. Can we sleep with our windows and doors open? The amount of gunshot I heard in Manchester and Mandeville, and the video that's circulating on social media, it sounds like we're in the wild, wild west, or we're in Iran, or Jamaica is a part of Ukraine, where Russia is taking over. Believe you me, when I saw it, I asked myself the question, is this Jamaica that they're talking about a 2030 vision to live, work, and raise family? Huh? To live, work, and raise family. When gunmen is taking over, badmen and gunmen taking over, and scammers, and people who is in the public kitty. The rampant corruption that faces us in Jamaica. The rampant corruption that faces the people in Jamaica. And we have a prime minister and a minister of national security who sometimes I ask the question, do we have a minister of national security? Do we? Or do we have a person who only think about themselves and don't think about the people who put them there? It grieved my heart every day. It grieves my heart every day when you see what is going on. And no matter what you try to do, or you speak out about what is going on, you hear people label you as a comrade. They must leave their party alone. So I need to ask the question, is it that the crime and hardship don't reach the Labour Party people them door? That's the question we need to ask. If Jamaica right now stand at the highest in homicide in the Caribbean, is that we mustn't speak about it? Is that we must just sit down and accept because it's not our, it is not at our door. It's not our door. So we must speak about it. It is not at our door. So we must not speak about the rampant corruption and the rampant crime and violence that is facing the country. It looks like election is near. Because I see a video circulating with the party leader and the prime minister of this country with Desmond Mackenzie in West Kingston. And to me, that they're campaigning. To me, it looks like the campaign has started. The campaign has started in a way it seems as if, sorry about that, it seems as if none of the criminality is not reaching members of the Labour Party door. They label me as a miserable Labour Party member who wanted to get a Senate seat. And because me never get it, me cussing off the Labour Party. Let me make something clear to the majority of the world. I want to say it, I better not say it. But let me make something clear. I, Jeffrey Tavares, was never and will never want to be a part of any political party or a member of any political party. Okay? So get that in your thick head. I am here to speak about what is going on in Jamaica, the land that we love, the land that we came here by labor pain, not by aeroplane. That is the land that I'm talking about. That is the country that I am talking about. And for us to sit down and keep on saying to ourselves that, oh Lord, I'm a die-hearted comrade, I'm a die-hearted laborite. Is the die-hearted and die-hearted that put in Jamaica anywhere? Huh? Is the die-hearted this or the die-hearted that put in Jamaica anywhere? Is it putting the land that we love, that we say we care about? Is it putting Jamaica anywhere? The murder rate by countries. Jamaica stand at 52.3 per 100,000. South Africa is 41.87 per 100,000. St. Lucia is 38.96 per 100,000. Honduras, 38.25 per 100,000. Belize, 31.25 per 100,000. Jamaica stands at the highest murder rate in the entire world. If you don't believe what I am talking about, you can type in right now, Google murder rate by countries 2023, and you'll get it. If you don't believe anything that I am saying, you believe that I'm lying, do that right now. Jamaica stands at the highest in any country throughout the world. And people will say, no, not Nagasa. Not Nagasa. Go to Google and type in murder rate by countries, and you will see it. Are you talking about not Nagasa? Welcome to Marie. How are you doing?
I am good, Jeffrey. How are you doing?
I am here looking and living.
You know something, I have to apologize for the late start. I was talking to a friend and I said, oh my, she said to me, don't you have a radio show tonight? I said, yes, I forgot. I'm sorry, but better late than never, better late than never. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I'm doing good.
Awesome.
Today I said to myself, we have to do a topic. Is gunmen in charge of Jamaica while the leadership of the government does stand by? Where is the leadership of the government? Where is the leadership of Michael Andrew Holness? Where's the leadership
of the Minister of National
Security?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Go ahead, Marie.
Because, that's a very good question, because the thing is, what happened on Saturday is something that has happened before. And this is not the first or second time, And the question is, what have they done to prepare and to protect against these things to guard against these things from happening in the future? And from given what happened on Saturday, the answer, in my opinion, is clearly nothing. and you have all these security plans that they say they have. You have guardsmen, security, beryllium is doing all of these things, but where's the training for the people? It shouldn't be happening. It's like, these people just laid low because they were doing it so often, and they just laid low and waited until, the heat was off them, and they went back to doing it again. And so what is it going to take for the government to wake up and finally do something to address this problem of crime in Jamaica? And they cannot incarcerate their way out of it, Am I hearing you, Jeffrey?
Oh, sorry. I'm saying, I don't mute the mic. I do apologize. I'm saying that it is quite obvious that the hoodlums, the thugs, the so-called bad men who only lies behind the power of the trigger, do not respect the security forces in the country. Because when I heard those shot firing, I said to myself, this is not Jamaica. You ever watch some Western movies? That's what you're hearing.
But their weapons, they have more. Their weapons are more powerful than that of of law enforcement.
Yes,
that is the thing. So the law enforcement, is outgunned. So do you think these people should, law enforcement, the police officers, they're human beings. They have families to go home to, and should they show up, knowing that they don't have the resources or the equipment to protect themselves, and go into these battles with these people who really have nothing to lose? It's rather unfortunate. It's a sad situation.
And when you look at it, you hear about this Berlin, I want to call it armored group, who carry money around all the time. And if they carry money around all the time, why is it that those are the only persons that target? Is it that there is some leak in that company? Or is it that Jeffrey behavior says, is it that the money is being stolen because they want to get insurance money?
But Jeffrey, does it, these kinds of heists are not carried out by, common criminal. These are high profile cases. These are high profile heists. These people are trained, in my opinion. They move with such precision, that it cannot. You don't see this as an operation of a person who live in the ghetto and just hungry and want to get a food. That makes no sense. This is right. And the amount of money too. The amount of money tells you that this looks more like organized crime than anything else.
So, and I'm trying to figure out, did they give the total amount of money?
They said what? I know, was it above 3 million? But it's quite a lot of money. Yes. I don't remember the figure, the amount of money right now, but it's a lot of money. I think more than the last time. So, this is not being carried out by some, young man who is just hungry and need to feed himself or his family, or just, whatever the situation is where he's concerned. This is organized, in such a way they know when to pounce. And how it is that the beryllium and the banks have not worked out a system of how it is that the ATMs will be restocked, will be serviced, because they're supposed to work out a situation where they do it at a certain time, and not all the time on the same schedule. But it looks like they're doing it on the same schedule all the time, same MO. The more they get robbed is the more they do, they do the same thing. So they do it and expecting a different result. That makes no sense.
But Marie, I don't believe that we reached to a point. I shouldn't say I don't believe it. It has reached to a point where, is it that we have to have the security forces that is already stretched thin to be deployed around banks around this country to guard these armored vehicles are non-armored vehicles that are bringing in money. That's where Jamaica has reached.
But how can law enforcement, specifically speaking, the JCF, guard these banks when they themselves don't have the proper equipment and to protect themselves? That's really a suicide mission, because these
Yeah,
young people who are carrying out these kinds of attacks, they don't care who they harm as long as they get what it is that they're going for. So to put police, in harm's way like that should be unacceptable. Should really be unacceptable. So they have to find a better way, a more, kind of foolproof way of addressing this situation, because this does not make any sense. It has happened too often in the past for them to have not put in place something, some measures, some security measures to stop this from happening. To
I
stop
don't
this
think they
from
put,
happening.
I don't think they put anything in place at all, Marie. I don't think they put anything at all in place to, to stem this monster that we have. If you Google right now, Marie,
Yeah,
murder rate by countries, you know
Jamaica
which
is number
country
one.
stand number one?
Jamaica.
Okay. And it's
And
just
they're not having a situation like Haiti, yet they're going to send soldiers to Haiti. But that aside, that's another conversation. But do you realize, Jeffrey, that crime and violence in Jamaica, people have been desensitized to it, the trauma
yeah.
of it. It's like they're immune. It's a new normal because of, listen to how they talk about crime. They glorify crime in their songs.
Yeah.
They glorify crime in their songs. They disrespect women in their songs. And so the people have become desensitized to
Right.
these acts of violence. So it's as if you're saying, if you want to prove yourself and your worth, then you have to be worse than the last person. So that is something that has to be addressed as well. Why are young people so, you know, desensitized to criminal activity and the trauma that it
Mhm.
inflicts on individuals as well as communities and by extension the wider society?
Yes. I have with me joining us now my good friend Luke George Cook, human
Yeah, I
rights
love Luke
activist
George Cook. Yes,
and,
yes,
and political commentator. Luke,
yes.
welcome to the program.
Hello, Jeffrey Tavares and the co-host and your listeners. I love her voice. I love her ear smile. I love your ear smile.
Listen, Luke George, listen, I'm so happy to be talking with you. I love you. How are you?
I am happy. I am extremely happy. But I agree with you. But I
You can't
I hear
separate your Luke.
no. Me have three of the wise women who came from the east bearing gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So they weren't in the robbery though. And I'm so delighted that the young man that it is alleged that has committed the robbery has come out to say that he wished people would stop branding in that way. I'm happy that he was able to make that quick assessment, but and come out to say that he was not actually referring to the robbery in Mandeville,
Yes.
but rather through probably other means. Although I think I detest people who come out on social media brandishing that amount of money and talking about a 95 could he give this to you, sending the wrong message. And as Daisy said, um, there's a lot of confusion for our youth in terms of the double messages that are going out there. She's right in saying that our musicians, especially the dancehall artists, use women, homosexuals, and children as a base to spread their dirty message, for wanting of a better word. Um, and so a lot of the song now depicts that if you go hungry or you're having a social problem because the country is failing, you ought to, one song describe it as the next time I'm hungry, I got to be nine. Man out the street, I fight crime. So, as a country, we have lost our moral compass. There's nothing wrong in being very colorful in the description of your music, but Daisy is right, it has gone to the lowest level of the barrel. Um, even the songs talking about sex, Daisy, it sound like sex is something of a weaponization. Because I remember one of them say, force it up hard in her, put the fear of God in her, draw the long card out of her, make she do and do and do. But Daisy, I tell you the truth though. I remember being on campus when a particular song came out, and as a male, I was very disturbed by the content of the writer. And I tried to petition students on campus for the song to be banned. And you know who was the ones who were most cruel to me in their criticism? It was women.
Yes, yes. And this is the thing, I always say, and it is not unique to dancehall. The same thing happens in hip hop, rap hip hop. That is happening, and where the denigration of women by men is one thing, but when women do it, they are worse than the men. And
Yeah.
when you hear when you speak out and you say, but how could you? I mean, that's that. They're like, what is it? Okay, case in point. The BET Awards. I didn't watch the BET Awards. And did you see the performer who got the opportunity to be on the BET Awards? That's a huge platform for her. And how did she carry on as a dancehall artist? As as a representative then of the Jamaican.
Are you speaking of Miss Spice?
Same one. And it was a lot of people, even in the hip hop world, who denigrate women themselves, were like, no, that wasn't the stage for that. We need to elevate our young women. And there are others who do the same thing as well. And everything is about twerking or dancing and opening up your legs and carrying on vulgar and behaving like, the worst. It's like everybody is trying to outclass the next person. And women are the worst perpetrators of this.
When we look at the murder rate per countries, let us say something here. Myanmar, 28.44 per 100,000. The Bahamas, 29.17 per 100,000. Trinidad and Tobago, 29.36 per 100,000. St. Kitts and Nevis, 29.41 per 100,000. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Comrade Rolf Gonzalez country, 30.67 per 100,000. Belize, 31.25 per 100,000. Honduras, 38.25 per 100,000. St. Lucia, 38.96 per 100,000. South Africa, because this population is bigger than Jamaica, is at 41.87 per 100,000, while Jamaica stands at 52.13 per 100,000. And is there something wrong with it? Look, George.
No, Jeffrey Holland, you must remember, Jamaica got the toughest set of slaves, and over the period of time, in the socialization process, we have been taught to eat with one another. And it has always carried. Nothing has changed. This is, as Miss Lewis said, a derivative of what happened after slavery. There is no self-love of self anymore, or there is no patriotism for the Jamaican people. So what you have now is that when the political party started, people were being exploited when they were told to come join one party and hate your brother over there. So you will remember that it was in the late 60s at the development of political party that Anthony Spaulding went to the People's National Party and his brother went to the Jamaica Labour Party. And Anthony told the people in his constituency that if they had any business doing with his brother, who was a noted lawyer at the time, that they were to cease and desist because his brother was now an enemy. His brother was now his enemy. So it has always been about divide and rule. And as children growing up, Daisy, you'll remember them tell us that anything we're black, we know.
Anything we're black, no good.
Right. And we still have in 2024 Daisy, people are beat them pitney and I tell them that. So we grow up with an identity crisis, and in that crisis, we have had to make some major adjustments because we're still on a large plantocracy. So you have people, who Jeffrey, when them go to the airport and come back, them not even go up on the plane, and all of a sudden them can't say ugly part, them have to say pigless part because to speak to speak a particular way and to be imagine if you live in Tivoli, Jungle, Arnett Garden, you have to feel ashamed about yourself in 2024. So there are some problem with the social construct and how we treat a certain set of people. And failing that, Jeffrey and Daisy, remember said plenty of way the farmer school system failed us, and therefore we have had to go to where people now look down upon we. Because to be in a gang, Jeffrey, you don't need nothing, you don't need no 560. So, when people are talking, some people them invite them house at Christmas time, and Daisy them depend. So what is your profession? And you all of a sudden you are displaced, and you know that you are rejected on the basis that you didn't climb up the social ladder and do as much. Whereas in the gang now there is no rule. You just have to do and say whoever lead you do as you're told and you deliver up and everybody accept you. As well as Daisy, you come from Kingston 12, Kingston 13, Kingston 11, and some part of deep rural, and you have the sexy and you have the degree, and you walk down the shoes where you know the side height already rubbed down, and you look the work, and you not get the work, and a man just see and say, yo man, you what you do? What you do? I look work, come in man. The first 10 grand them gain a Daisy, and at the first look a choir boy, and them just call him in and say, come in youth. Them give him 2 girls for the night, all of a sudden, boom, and a light goes off and they said, this is the life. So we have not yet elevated our people to a place of self-love and self-acceptance for them to know, what the big word we use, for them to know.
Fundamental, democratical, and hypocritical.
Yeah, self-actualized, Jeffrey. So the crime rate is going to raise because it is as a result of the fact that the PNP and the JLP have left them people poor. 75% of Jamaicans are still poor. And on top of it, here's the lie that them tell. 95% of Jamaicans are gainfully employed that can be employed. Break down that lie, not go so. You are turning out volume of people who can read and write, can matriculate, and then them go out and learn one skill. But there is no skill bank that is there to absorb them. Recently, Keith Duncan said that Jamaica have high-end jobs and we don't have enough qualified people in Jamaica to take it. So again, you see the noise that is being made in the communication. We are not assessing as a country, Daisy, how we move our people into areas that can best suit their dreams and aspiration, but we continue to hold them in the chokehold because politicians don't want too much bright people, Jeffrey. Cause nobody now go vote for them five. Me can't make my money if me can't get me $3 million a year when me are doing a line and take shirt for $5,000. So them still a sell we for a pot of porridge. Them for a pot of porridge. So you have to understand.
You know something, Luke? I had a call a while ago, gracious call a while ago from somebody that Luke George and I know. A young lady who will stand up for the youths in our country. And I speak none other than a young lady who I admire. Like her a lot, and I admire her. Senator Gabriela Morris. She just gave me a call a while ago. And when you hear a young lady who is passionate about her country, about the youth in our country, we're talking about is gunmen in charge of Jamaica. Where is the leadership from the government of Jamaica? And you have a young lady on the opposition side who is calling out for better programs for the youth. And I'm going to play a clip by her and come back to our conversation. Because this clip ties into what we're speaking about. Because without the young people in our country, without jobs for the young people in our country, where are we going? And if we're talking about a 2030 vision, listen to Senator Gabriela Morris.
Comrades, are you ready? Comrades, we say it over and over again that young people are the future. But the way young people are being treated in this country at this time has to change. It must change. Time come, comrades, for young people to live good in this country. Comrades, we can look around us and we see the state of hopelessness that many of our young people are in. We see that many of them are choosing chopping over education. We see that many of them are being gunned down and are gunning down people. We see that many of them, they can't afford the school fee, so them just stay at home. We see that many of them are being choked by the high cost that they have to be paying back to SLB. And many of our young people in this country are feeling hopeless. But comrades, I'm here to tell you today that there is hope. There is hope, and it resides within the People's National Party. The PNP has always stood with young people. We stood with young people when Manley gave them free education. We stood with young people when PJ Patterson gave us path and modernized our trust. We stood with young people when Portia Simpson Miller gave us the Sports Development Foundation so young people can advance in sports. And comrades, so it was in the beginning, so it shall be in the end. Time come.
You know, let me make something clear this evening. I'm not from any political party. But when you see a leader, when you see a person who can speak for the poorer class of Jamaicans, for the younger class of Jamaicans, you need to promote her. And I speak none other than this young lady here, who hails from the parish of St. James, who I believe, when she decided to run for any member of parliament seat, whether the PNP or the JLP, or no P, she'll be a damn fine good leader. That's what I believe. And when she speaks about the young people who are gunning down, are being gunned down, This is what is going on in Jamaica. A prime minister who tells the people of our country he can allow you to sleep with your windows and door open. A prime minister who refused to give the security forces higher salary. A prime minister who refused, along with his minister of national security, to give the security forces the tools that they need to use to fight the crime. This is the country we have where gunmen take over. I must apologize for the expletives. But you see what's going on, Marie? And Luke George Cook? Where Jamaica has become the wild, wild west of the Caribbean.
Yes. Yeah. But going back to, before I even talk about this, going back to something Luke George said about the political parties and how they have basically dumbed down the voting population. Because if you look at how Jamaicans vote, they don't vote on policies. It's about who I like, and being a diehard. I'm sorry?
Yes. It's about their party.
Yeah, it's about being a diehard. And one should only be a diehard Jamaican. Look, we have to vote on policies, on issues, so that when people legislate, they're legislating on the issues that you support, not on their personal preference. Because when look at the current government right now. They are considered to be the worst and most corrupt in Jamaica's political history. Not that other administrations have not been corrupt. This one is the most brazen, in your face, no accountability, do what they want to do, nobody can say anything to them. All right?
They're the only Dans, Remember, they came from a Danmanism.
Yes.
The only Dan in this party, all the rest are Donovan.
So the voting populace needs to come to a place where they're voting for people who they know can legislate.
Yes.
Put in place legislation that benefit the masses, not the few. As it stands right now, it's the masses, it's the minority that is benefiting. The top 1% are quite fine, while the bottom 99% have nothing, 0 to nothing, and they're living, forget poverty line, they're living below poverty line. And they're so poor that you can't even call it poor, right? And so they have to vote for politicians who have their best interests at heart and stop voting for political parties just for the sake of. You have to look at a political party. Right now it's the PNP, the JLP. What have they done in the years that they have been in office? Which party has done more for people? Which party has not? Now, we're not expecting them to be Jesus, but you can look at it and based on that information, make some informed decision about how you're going to vote and why you're going to vote that way. You have to vote on policies, policies, policies. What are the issues? Education, healthcare, national security, housing, major issues. How have they, when they're in power, how have they legislated for these 4 major issues? What was the country like under each administration with these 4 major issues? Education, national security, healthcare, housing. Now, voters have an opportunity. Voters have an opportunity, especially now with the age of social media, to call their politicians to books and talk to them in a serious way about the issues that face them and make it clear to them that I am not going to vote for you because I like you, because my mother was a diehard JLP and my father was a diehard PNP. So I'm going to vote for you based on the hospitals that need fixing, the education system that is broken, the police stations that need patrol cars, the fire station that needs fire truck that don't have to push them. So the voter has to become an educated voter. The voter in Jamaica is not an educated voter. Everybody's voting for party, diehard this and diehard that. And they have to remove themselves from the colors too. One should be able to wear any color they want and not be labeled Green Party or Orange Party. The colors also have helped them to dumb themselves down and not let them focus on the issue. So they're more concerned about wearing a green Clarks than anything else. Yes, my leader wear a green Clarks, so that makes me,
As you talk about green Clarks and everything, I want you to listen to this from the same Senator Gabriela Morris. Listen to this.
People's National Party is ready to make sure that young people in this country see real change. We are ready to not just give you hype and claps and all kind of foolishness. We are ready to meet with you. We are ready to walk with you. We are ready to work with you so that you can see a Jamaica where you feel good to live, raise your families, work, and the business. We're not stopping because we know that time is here. Young people, we're fed up and we want better in this country. Time come. We're giving you a warning, Prime Minister. We're ready and we're not back down. PNP strong. We're ready.
But you know something, Jeffrey, time come is right. Time come to have better politicians, honest politicians, and time has come to hold politicians accountable. The political directorate needs to be held accountable. Look at the level of corruption in Jamaica. I mean, corruption has run amok. Look at the way the government has been trampling all over the Constitution. Nobody can call them to books. The DPP, I don't know what she doesn't even know what her duty is.
She doesn't know her duties. No, hold on there, Marie. Like this. She knows her duty. And I'm saying this without no apology. She is put there for a second time around or a third time around. That when the time comes for those 6 parliamentarians to have a proper investigation, they go on like a salmon mouth and come out of it.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is that, which leads to the point, what I'm trying to say is that she is not doing the job that what she was elected to do, because she's the director of public, not private, public, not government, public prosecutions. So she should be holding accountable the government. It doesn't matter who is in power. She should be holding anyone who runs afoul of the law accountable. Look at the level of corruption taking place. And you're telling me that she cannot launch an investigation to see why there's a $10 billion overrun, why the Cornwall Regional Hospital went from $3 billion to $14 billion, and it's just spending and spending of money. Whose money are they spending? Taxpayers' money.
Marie making some valid point, Jeffrey. You want me to hold so you can record?
Yes. Let me introduce to you Mr. Colin Bell, the caretaker for West Portland. The same man who a certain person in Parliament described as fly and whatever. This is the gentleman, but a man who will not sit down and be silent. A man who will continue to speak for Jamaicans and for the people of West Portland. Colin Bell, welcome. East Portland,
Eastern Portland.
Yes, Eastern Portland. Welcome to Make We Talk. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. Good evening to your guests.
Good evening, Colin. How are you?
Yeah. Hi, Colin. Colin, before you come in on the discussion, Jeffrey, let me say something. I need to say a few things. The Jamaican people have surrendered their will to their political party. As much as I love Gabrielle and I like the vibes that she's coming with, the PMP failed the people. She should have called PJ Patterson name. Portia to a less extent. She loved the poor. That line gets me all the time, because for you to repeat something, it means that you're confirming that you know that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. After the Manleys, the PMP suffered. The leadership became a set of despot, and they divorced themselves from the people. I hate political stage where we talk about we love the people and we're returning to the days of loving the people. Those sentiments, we know that they are 9-day talk, and after the party win, the people divorce themselves from what them step on stage. I don't know, my friend Mr. Bell might be different. But the thing is that PMP, now that they're in opposition, have not crafted to me a policy to take to the young people of Jamaica to show them how they are going to get out of abject poverty. But Mr. Bell, I see you're making up your face, so I'll allow you to speak.
How do you know that? It is not the responsibility of the opposition to craft policy to better the country.
Mr. Bell, it is the responsibility of the opposition, if they want to succeed as government, to have policy. You can't wait until you reach. When you reach your support, Mr. Bell, I hope you learn from it. Come out of the mindset there. If you're going to lead, you must be in preparation mode. So if you're not prepared for nothing come give me, you can't lead me. Me can't wait till you reach for tell me what you're gonna do for me. You have to tell me before. That is how you convince people that you are ready for leadership.
So you're ready to listen now?
Yeah, man.
All right.
And I don't fight. We are fighting a bell. We're not coming here for fight. I might view that. A one-man view. One man.
Your views sound warped.
No, Mr. Bell, that is like Mr. Bell, sorry. That is like Mr. No behavior man, I tell you, say, ching, drunk, and fly. That's my opinion. Just give me yours.
But if you don't ask the questions, you can't get the answers. Now, from where I sit as a member of the opposition party, I believe that Jamaica is one of the most wealthiest countries on the planet. We have all that we need to create wealth in Jamaica. And what has been happening over the years is that we have been led by people who understand to a certain level what they can see and what they can touch. One of the things that the next PNP administration will be bringing to the fold is the development of the creative industry. An industry that we have in Jamaica over the years, just meandering along with no structure, no assistance from government. It is an industry that can turn the economy around within one term of any political party. It is an industry that the Minister of Sports and Entertainment said to us the other day, that Jamaica earned $2.2 billion from the creative industry. Now, the creative industry is a $3 trillion a year industry. And the 2.2 billion that the minister said we earned was 2.2 billion Jamaican. Now, 2.2 billion.
Hold on for me, Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell, hold on a minute. Now I'm continue. I want us to stick on the point, and the point that we came here to speak about. I know you're answering to what Luke George have just said to you. But
Yes.
don't you from the point. And the topic that we have this evening is gunmen in charge of Jamaica. Where is the leadership of the Andrew Holness administration? Continue your point and let's switch to that, please. Go ahead.
Yes, so let me just finish answering that question. So the creative industry is a $3 trillion a year industry. 2.2 billion Jamaican is about 13 million change US. That is 0.0046% of the $3 trillion. With all that we have, the amount of entertainers, sportsmen and women, artisans, people in the creative, in the performing arts and the visual arts, people in the gastronomy industry. I am saying to my brother that under the next PNP administration, within 4 years, we'll be earning 1%, at least 1% of that $3 trillion. Now, 1% of that $3 trillion is 30 billion US dollars. Let me go to the question that we are here to talk about tonight. This government has no clue how to deal with the gunmen who are running riot in this country. I'm not going to say that they are in control of the country. I'm not going to agree with that. Because to agree with that, it would be giving up.
Why?
Why I'm not going to agree with it? This is the second
time around. Hold on there for me, Mr. Bell. This is the second time around and the third time around. We have seen gunmen firing high-power rifles as if we're in Ukraine.
In broad daylight.
Nothing to mention about the government, not the opposition.
The opposition, I don't know how much the news carried last night, but Peter Bunting was in West Portland last night.
I have that to play.
On national security. And he made some statement. But let me tell you where I am, George. I believe that Jamaica needs to implement what New York used. I don't remember if it was in the 90s. Stop and frisk. And that is my view.
With Rudy Giuliani?
Yes, that is my view. I believe stop and frisk would assist us in Jamaica. Because let me tell you what is happening in Jamaica. A guy puts a firearm in his waist and he goes on the road. He has a 0.001% of being searched by a policeman. I am saying that we need to turn that around in Jamaica. That when a guy puts an illegal gun in his waist and go on the road, there is a 99% chance that he will be searched by a police. And if he's searched and caught with a firearm, the new law in Jamaica says that if you are caught with an illegal firearm, it's a mandatory 15 years in prison. I believe that we need to get serious. I also believe that states of emergency is a valid tool in the toolbox, but not the way this government uses it. If we look at Gregory Park in a couple of weeks ago, at one time there was about 12 houses that was firebombed. In my view, that is a case for a state of emergency in a small area. You overwhelm the area with police and soldiers. You search every nook and cranny, get the guns, get the people we are looking for, get out, let people get back to their lives. So
getting the guns, hold on, Mr. Bell. Getting the guns is one, you know. When the police hierarchy getting the guns, they show the whole of downtown and parade. They show every news outlet around the world that they have received the gun, that they have taken off the gun off of the road. Why can't we see when the JCF is destroying the guns that they collect off the road? It is alleged that a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force have been selling or renting guns to gunmen. It is alleged. The people of our country must see when they're destroying the guns.
These are the things that we need to see. We need to see these things happening. And as I was saying to a friend the other day, the lot of cocaine that was found at Ian Fleming Airport. I said to a friend of mine, I bet you the police can't show you that coke right now. And we had a big laugh about it. So we need to see these things being destroyed. Jamaica needs more transparency. Lot more transparency.
So Luke George, do you believe we're gonna come to Marie? Marie, you wanna say something?
Yes. I'm listening to Colin speaking, and I what he says sounds good and dandy. Let me just address this creative industries. The problem, the education system needs to be fixed, first of all, to deal with the creative industries. Yes. Children cannot read. They're graduating from high school and they cannot read, they cannot write. That's the first issue. Now, let's go to this mandatory prison sentences. One cannot incarcerate their way out of the crime and violence problem in Jamaica. what is the underbelly of the crime and violence problem in Jamaica? Young people, as Wayne Lonesome, my friend and brother, loves to call them, unattached youth, have no outlet. Where are the social services for young people? Where are the outlets for young people? Where are the skills training programs? Where are the vocational training programs? Not every child will graduate from high school and become a lawyer, doctor, Indian, and a chief. It's not going to happen. So where is the outlet for those children in the high school system, in the primary school system? Where are the avenues for those children who are creative, but who are not academically inclined in the sense of wanting to become a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer, all those wonderful jobs? Those are necessary. But you also need the plumber, you need the electrician, you need the garbage collector. Everybody is needed. Every job is valuable. You need the farmer, you need the dressmaker, you need the cosmetologist. Where are these avenues? Where are these programs in the school system to channel young people? And another thing, when the government gets money, and it's not just Jamaica Labour Party, but when money is allocated, given to the government, donations to address inner city youth, to create programs for them, the money is finished, there's no program, and the young people are there still in need. Still in need. So I want to see what it is. When Michael Manley, we talk about Michael Manley, and God rest the dead. But he had policies in place to address every issue in Jamaica. Policies. He looked at education. He didn't only look at education and think, well, okay, what can I do for people going to University of the West Indies? No, he looked at it at every single level, from the baby all the way up to tertiary. That's how it was looked at. Healthcare was addressed as well. Everything was addressed. Housing was addressed. Farming was addressed. So where are these issues? How are these issues being addressed in a real way that the voters can look at it and say, yes, this is my reason. This is why I would want to vote for the People's National Party, because they are speaking to the issues, and do not come with the fancy talk and the promises that they're going, you can sleep with your door open and your window open and all those things, and we're going to come with tangible things that people can work with you on and support you on, and also hold you accountable to these promises.
And that is why, hold on for me, Luke George, and that is why, if we to stem the guns flowing into Jamaica and Jamaica's crime pandemic, the Jamaica Labour Party do not have a crime plan. They have a plan called Plan Secure Jamaica. I hope I'm pronouncing the word correctly. Ratigan, if you're listening to us, tell me if I'm pronouncing the word correctly. It's Plan Secure Jamaica they have. And that is why I'm saying the People's National Party must come up with a crime plan in Jamaica. If the Jamaica Labour Party don't have a crime plan, the People's National Party must come up with one where the people can say, okay, I've seen where Mark Golden put on the table a crime plan. Election is due. What have we seen that put up as a crime plan for Jamaica? Luke George?
Look here, to my friend Mr. Bell. Is Bell or Bell Davis?
Bell. Bell.
Yeah.
Call me Trumpet.
Right, Bell Tongue.
Call me Trumpet.
Call you what?
Trumpet.
All right, Trumpet. You see my friend Marie, I go and give the PMP some advice. This is free advice, and this is the only time you get it. Is a one-time offer. I love the fact that we talk about the creative industry, and we can talk about the fishing industry, because that's another $1 billion industry. We can talk about cannabis, because that's another $1 billion industry.
Yeah, but wait.
The thing is that I would love for you, Mr. Bell, to develop the bullet point, the 7-point plan on all of these and put it out and tell us how it's going to be achieved, how much money, how much people will benefit from it. Because we don't want a paper that is a scholarly paper that people can read and write. And to my friend Marie, what I'd love to see in this new dispensation, because you are a young, vibrant politician, and I have no doubt that you want to achieve a lot. I'd like for you to have a micro care, education care center in your parish that assess children's learning very early, and that we can, through that assessment, we can now know what are the learning challenges of that child. So that if we're going to stream them into the creative industry, which no doubt has a lot of benefit, at least we can give them the foundation on which they can start. If you're going to talk about a security plan, it has to go back to the time, Mr. Bell, of when it was collective security for surety. We have to show Jamaica the real side to, yes, a few have benefited from the crime and violence, because most of the man them where have the gun, Mr. Bell, where we are going to give them 15 years, we need to look at who is supplying the gun and who buy the bullet. They don't have the means to an end. The gun is even more valuable to them. They can lose their life for the gun. So the PMP needs to come up with a plan that shows me that we're after people who are on the upper echelon of society that have continued to perpetuate the system of crime, and by making our people first criminals, and then we use a system to punish them. So we have to show that. We also have to show that there is an incentive for the people who we call the citizens of the country, who wants to make a report, but they fear a corrupt police system. How are we going to address that corrupt police system that when we go there, we name now call and it now go back to the perpetrators of violence? We need to look at the witness protection program, because how is it that I'm expected to report a crime when I don't know that I'm going to get the protection? I need to get the same protection as the Andrew Oldness, the PJ Patterson, and the Bell, who now, once you're in government, you have the security force and a special detail protecting you, so that when you participate, you can disappear and get a new identity and start somewhere else. I am in agreement with you, though, that I am never going to say that gunmen are running this country, but they have created a negative impact that is taking away confidence from the Jamaican society. And it is time that at the community level, Mr. Bell, we all have to root out crime and violence. But how are we going to root it out when many of the time, that is the institution that provides quicker for us than the institutions of government?
I want to respond before you go any further. Because the People's National Party policy is that we are going to deal with early childhood education like it has never been dealt with in Jamaica before. Because
before you continue, Mr. Bell, I now cut you off. I can't get a copy of that policy because it only seems to reside in the People's National Party and not we out here who are now going to be making up our mind how we vote.
Well, as I said earlier, an election is in the year, so a manifesto will be coming out shortly. So all these things will be out in the public in short order. But let me continue. The long-term solution for crime is education. That's the long-term solution. There has to also be a short-term solution, and there has to be, in Jamaica's case, an immediate solution, because crime in Jamaica now is like when a pipe breaks and all the water is rushing out. So there has to be an immediate. And the immediate that I am proposing is the stop and frisk. Short-term, the creative will assist because if you can earn a living, then the man who buys the gun and gives it to the little boy up on the corner, that little boy up on the corner will have a chance to create wealth without getting into crime. Because, mark you, the creative industry is the only industry that a 10-year-old can become a millionaire legally. So anybody who has talent And once you set up Jamaica the way it ought to be, and I'm not going to tell you the final come, because we are going on a little something to the creative industry, but it needs something big. And that is what the PNP is going to implement. Listen, Comrade Julian Robinson, in his 2022 budget presentation, and I want to quote him, he said, our leaders, past and present, does not understand the creative industry. So we have been doing some work on it. And if you listen to the leader of the party, Mark Jefferson Golden, he spoke at length in his budget presentation last year about the creative industry. And this recent budget presentation, both Julian and the leader of the party spoke about the creative industry, because as I said earlier, we can easily earn 30 billion US a year from that industry. And if we are doing that, then there's going to be an avenue for young people to earn. And I'm putting a caveat to it that I said to the party leader that, listen, when we are doing this, we need to start saying from now to young people, if you have criminal record, you won't be able to participate. So stay out of crime, stay clean. The People's National Party will bring opportunity to your doorstep. You talk about the blue economy.
Mr. Bell.
It is something that we're looking at. The blue economy is critical because where we live in Portland, out on the 15-mile mark, all the tunas pass out there. So we also need to support our fishermen that they have the adequate equipment to tap on fishing. So yes, we're looking at the blue economy. And of course, the creative industry is also referred to as the orange economy. It is a way of the short-term solution to the murders we are having in Jamaica. If we can show our people that here is a way that you can make a living without scamming anybody, without taking up the guns to go kill people.
Well, Mr. Bell, some may ask the question, that the creative industry has been around since Wappy killed Philip and Philip dead.
Yeah, and I'll tell you
Why
this.
is it, hold on there, sir. Why is it that when the People's National Party was in government, why didn't they pump billions or millions into the creative industry and say, okay, young people, excuse, I am not taking off any party, but I'm just saying that the creative industry have been around since Wappy killed Philip and Philip dead. It has been around since Michael Manley, Bruce Golding, Edward Seahag, and everybody.
And I just said to you a while ago, in Comrade Robinson, Julian Robinson, our spokesman on finance, he said in his budget debate 2021-2022, our leaders, past and present, do not understand the creative industry. So that's why it didn't happen. You are now seeing a new core of leaders coming to the fore who understand it. And I tell you straight up, I make most of my money out of the creative industry. I have traveled over 27 countries because I have been participating in the creative industry. I tell you something I saw recently. Film industry was in Port Antonio doing a series they call Black.
Yeah.
They were filming on Boston Beach, and the star did not want to go into the water because the sea got really rough. A guy was there with a slight look of the star, and in one day, for about 2 hours, he earned $5,000 US. That's the possibilities of the creative industry. But we now have people who understand it. And I tell you, not blowing my own trumpet, but I know exactly what to do to turn it around that we can start earning what we should be earning. How much movies you have with Bob Marley? How much movie you have with this?
So in other words, Mr. Bell, you're saying that if we have a creative industry and we have our young people at work, the crime situation, and that is one of the areas that we can help to solve crime, eh, Marie?
Because we're going to create wealth. Marie spoke out earlier about
Exactly.
education system, because we have to start teaching people to do video editing, screenwriting, screen drafts. You have to start teaching people how to create the sites and all of that. So our education system have to now start picking up on that. We have to teach people how to do lighting, sound engineering, all of them something now we have to start teach people.
Yeah, but Mr. Bell, what I say is, where I say, because when you create more money, you can create more problem. So I would love to see in that discussion that you're having on youth development that at the onset of it is that you go back to the national youth program where through the program you teach people about the importance of being patriotic and putting them to work out in their communities, giving them a feel of what happened out there so that at least they see how they can positively impact on it. Because again, with money comes a different set of problem. What you're saying has its validity, but we must remember that because of what has happened, that we have lost three generation of youth to the issue of crime and violence, that we have not really caught them, that we now have a responsibility to put them into something that is structured, that they can see benefits from it, that they can matriculate from it, that they can have mentorship program. Because you can give me a car as your son, Mr. Bell, and I'm so happy that you will find a stunt gig for me that I can be earning some $5,000, because I think I look like quite a few of the artists, so I'm looking forward to it. But you can give me a car and I can become
Then why
I
don't
can
you show your
become
face
productive
then?
with it and destructive.
Why don't you show your face and look at some of the stars then? Show your face and I can
Jeffrey,
call you.
all right, Jeffrey, me all right, as me I go along, me I ride and whistly. I am behind on several things. Mr. Bell no one see my ugly face for traumatizing, but him I go put me in a movie. So while we are Marie, you see, while we are enthusiastic about this, Mr. Bell, one of the problem when we see is that because there is not enough Bells and the Tavares and Marie out there interacting with our youth. So we need to start the national mentorship youth program, Mr. Bell, because money creates another set of problem. The money that can be made from this, these wonderful ventures can be what start to buy the bullet. And we buy 2 more guns so we can rent it out. So when there's a war in Montego Bay, we rent out the gun and the insurance, and if you lose one, we get 2. So we have to take that into account.
But if we have the stop and frisk going on at the same time, my brother, and we have the education going on,
you know, me love the suggestion
that people who are educated, people with a first degree, people with even a diploma, masters, don't get into crime the way our people are into crime. So that's why I spoke about the long term, the short term, and the immediate.
Yeah, Mr. Bell, me love the stop and frisk, but what me I like you for do, in the mandate, the Minister of National Security and the Police Commission need to re-socialize their police to how they approach, and that it does not become abusive. Because you see, when you give certain people too much power, Master got tablecloth on dish towel, and somehow we feel it worse than me now. Go say to one police, me I go about my business, where you gonna stop me for? Hey boy, the law said, right? Because the men and women in uniform, some of them are national disgrace, and we need to weed them out. I don't have a problem. If that is a measure that we're going to use to try to stem crime. But outside of that,
I want to interject that our citizens must be an active participants in the reduction of crime. And we must understand that if we are law-abiding citizens and something is implemented that we think will reduce murders in this country, that we must also play our role. So when the policeman said, "Good evening, I'd love to have a search," you are law-abiding citizens, a search.
no, we said that, no man, remember Mr. Collective Security for shorty. It's all them are going to put you out there for sell that program there. And you see, if you sit down in your sofa, stay away, so stop and frisk, and on both sides of the party, we're going to have an understanding that you're going to approach the citizen with the manners and the respect that is all owed to the citizen, and the citizens are asking you to respond. Because you see, the people feel so indifferent towards the police now that any additional power you vest them with, the people are going to be outraged. Me have no problem, you know. If they want to stop and frisk me and me sit down now, we can even have a juice and have a conversation. I don't have any problem, because we have to look at measures that are going to be answered. But we need to go a little bit further than that. at the community level, we need to show people that we are actively having a plan and they are participating in it. Not like Vision 2030, and they are actively participating in it, Bell, that they can say, all right, when these things happen. So this is the problem. And here are some possible solutions. And who is going to implement it? It is done with the citizens' involvement, because what happened? I'm afraid though, my brother said, this is nice that you're talking this way. But what will happen when the PMP become government? With all the time we talk about, oh, we want to engage the citizen, oh, we want to engage civil society. And then when we reach, we become persona non grata.
No,
that we must have a memorandum of understanding that we are no longer going to become a silent voice to our development, but enough away, I got to take on a Stony Gut and a Paul Bogle approach to telling government that they are the servants of the people and not God. You see, this bro God, my God, it makes the leader of the opposition more destructive. But me not even want to talk about clocks because I can't afford it.
Marie?
Luke George, you know, I'm listening to Luke talk and I'm listening to Colin and Jeffrey. And
Marie, them now give me no job when PFP come to power. And this is government not what me say.
But you know, the thing is, you know, and I'm not advocating for any one political party, but it is a fact that the People's National Party have, through their many administrations, worked more on the behalf of regular people. They have their flaws, many flaws, have their issues, but they have more often than not looked out for regular people. And
yeah, they are the better of two evil in that regard, but they have done some of the wickedest things too. So then give it one and take it four. I better not tell me a labor right to the night and labor right now pay people.
Hold on for me, Luke. Hold on for me, Luke. You have a fan in the background?
Then you know, Jamaica ad. Let me get rid of it. Jamaica ad, you know,
remember that
I know it's not, but it's sounding in the mic.
we put in things like the peace management unit, crime interveners. So we work with the people. The last People's National Party, we had peace management unit. We had people who go in and deal with the community as it deals with crime interrupters. We had those people. This administration threw out all of that.
And but you know, we can, yeah, that's why I said to you, that's why I said I'm not advocating, but I'm looking at it from a policy perspective. And it is a fact that the People's National Party have done a lot of good, you know, for the Jamaican people. You go back to Michael Manley years and you know, you can pick things and see where, you know, it is going. But I also want to say that I am of the view that Mark Golding has the ability, the potential to be an excellent leader, but he has to be willing to have the gumption and the stomach to, one, give the Integrity Commission, allow the Integrity Commission to do its job, give them more power. Also, he has to be willing to hold people accountable, whether they're in his party or not. And he also has to be willing to be a transparent government. A transparent government. This is the age of social media. It's not business as usual. He has the opportunity to be the leader that can marshal Jamaica into a better Jamaica, can marshal the people of Jamaica into a better society by showing them with leadership, good leadership, ethical leadership, what needs to be done. And I'm not batting for Mark Golding, but I'm just calling a spade a spade. That has the potential to do it. It is incumbent on Mark Golden to take up the baton and run with it. He's going to face a lot of challenges, but he must be willing and he must be honest with the Jamaican people. Tell them like it is. And stop with the shenanigans and the corruption. And it cannot be about cronyism. It's not about coming in and giving his friends contracts and giving his wife contracts and putting his wife here. And it's not about that. It's about the Jamaican people once and for all.
Marie.
Once and for all. He has a potential and he needs. Pardon
Mark
me?
Golden is a businessman.
Hold on for me, Mr. Bell.
Business.
Mr. Bell, hold on for me, sir. There is a fan in the background that is. We can hardly hear what you guys are saying. Yes. Go ahead now, Mr. Bell.
You hear me now?
Yes.
I was saying that I am batting for Mark Golden. And the confidence I have is because Mark Golden is a businessman. He knows what it is to run an efficient business, what it means to cut the fat and to ensure that you are efficient, you're tight, time, and you deliver what you promise. And that is why Mark Golden is going to be easily the greatest prime minister this country has ever seen. Because
no, Mr. Bell. No, Mr. Bell. No, Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell. No, Mr. Bell. You're not on prime minister yet. No, you're not on prime minister. I'm not on prime minister. No matter with that. Mr. Golden is going to be we will determine best prime minister after, because when him done, you and me and Marie and Jeffrey have got to take over. But what me would I like to say, if I'm going to be the greatest prime minister, me I like him to start talk to ordinary people like me and you. And I want him to start not to leave the big boy club where him have to cut the meat. The fact of the matter, Mark, I don't know anything about Mark. I know that he's a great person in terms of his personal, but I don't think Mark is listening to the rest of us. I don't think he's feeling it like how the rest of us are feeling it. I'm happy that you believe in him. And so you are giving me another side of him because everybody sees him differently. Where is he talking to the ordinary Jamaican outside of the PMP campaign going around the country? Where are the focus group discussion where we are inputting our ideas and who is taking those ideas, Bell? Like how we're taking your creative industry and we're looking at the blue industry. There are other things out there that we have to look at. There is coding. There is coding. By the way, are you going to be the Minister of Information, Bell?
Go again.
In the new administration, are you taking up information? Because the one we currently him have a fetish to be a liar, right? It's him give misinformation. Them are gonna give you Minister of Information in the new portfolio.
No, I don't have no interest in that. I don't want to be that.
What you want? Which one you want?
Me? If I have a
Industry and commerce?
No. Entertainment.
Oh, yeah. Babsy, you can't beat Babsy. But Bell, we need something more from Mark Golden than that. With the 4 manifesto, Bell, it don't stop the PMP now from coming up. Here are my 7 priorities for crime: education, wealth creation, global warming.
Wealth creation is the creative industry. I just tell you about that.
So under that, we will create wealth.
That is where we're gonna get wealth creation from, because the creative industry, you see, will also triple our income from tourism. All right. And then Bell, all your factor that into the national crime plan and the campaign that we need to start, where ordinary people like you and me have on a shirt that say, I'm playing my part. I'm making sure that Jamaica become crime-free by 2030. How that I going to play into? A while ago, one of the caveats we're adding to participating in the creative industry is you must have a clean police record. So we're treating all of that. Do you know how difficult it is to get a police record? No, man, it's not difficult, man.
Yeah, man. A 1 year them
Might take
take.
a couple of days, but it's not difficult, my brother.
No, it's 1 year now the application take. And then you have to create, you have to go and go, you have to go. Mary, me not take up the show. Sorry, me not take up the show, but understand this. If you go right now, Bell, a 1 year it take. And if you are being filed for, you have to get papers from the applicants to say that your application is before. Now the problem I have with that, me I gonna make you talk, you know. Me I gonna make you talk is why when you go up on the first time, them turn you down, and then you have to find a next $3,000 to pay, and you can go 2 times before the committee actually approve. You might think it easy, you know, but go find them little youth they know. We'll go upon the work program them and see the difficulties that they are having with a 1 year program. Me don't talk.
Hold on. As I said to you a while ago, I have traveled over 27 countries. And most of the times when we have to get a work permit, we have to get a police record. No, Mark, you haven't gotten one since COVID because I'm traveling that department since COVID. But before COVID, we used to get it in 2 days.
And that is
No,
what.
yeah, that was
That's what he's saying to
all right. Bell, go and find out. All pan national TV, them tell you now, so if you apply, the head of the expungement thing was on there. The police record place tell us, police record them tell you that the lady who have to gather the information is one person in the department. Her name is Miss, I want to can call out the woman name, is Miss P. Is Miss P in our department. Just listen to me and try to fix that. And she alone in there, and she have a foot in there. She have a foot in there.
Well, tell you what, everything mashed up under this government still in. Every God Almighty.
Look at Bell.
Hold on,
Jeffrey. Bell, let me give you some advice. If you want to be a politician that me can trust, just say that government and successful government has not carried through with what they're supposed to. But when I come to power, no, Bell. No, Bell. On a life to tell you about right, them bad and wicked.
Hold on. In 2016, we were rolling out 450 JUTC buses. Right now, we can roll out 200.
Hold on there for me, Mr. Bell. No. I don't want this program to go down to JUTC because the two political parties use JUTC as a milking tree.
And I'm not going to agree with you.
That's your business.
I'm not going to agree with you.
Well, me telling you that.
National Party set up the JUTC to give
the People's National Party, Mr. Bell, and the People's National Party put in their friends and cronies, all who can hardly read and write.
No.
Managers.
Don't do that.
That's not the JLP.
That is not true. It is the JLP government that give a man a job that needs a master's and give a man a job with only a high school diploma pass. Don't do that. The PLP never do that.
Parties in Jamaica do it.
Don't do that. If we're talking about the JUTC, it is not an opinion. This is a fact. In 2016, we were rolling out 450 buses. Right now, we cannot roll out 200. That's a fact. That's not an opinion.
May I interject here? This is the thing. When we talk of, that's why I say that the voter in Jamaica needs to be an educated and edified voter. It cannot be about who was wicked from who not wicked. I said we need to look at policies, legislation. What have you done for me lately? Period. You look at the education system, you look at school, national security, you look at healthcare, you look at housing, pick one. And you see the breakdown. You look at corruption, you see the systemic corruption across the board. And when they talk about mandatory prison sentence for who? Just for people? Look at all the corruption and the crime happening in Jamaica.
Marie, hold on a minute for me, Marie. I don't know if it's your phone, if you use your system, but I am getting a breakup from your system there. I'm getting a breakup as if, you know, that there is a fan in the background or something.
No.
I don't have any fun, Jeffrey.
All right.
Mr. Bella, you them a jam?
I don't know, but Jeffrey, I don't know how much longer we're going for, but my breadfruit and chicken back I get cold.
No, hold on there. Why every time? Hold on there. Why every
Jeffrey,
time you invite this program, Mr. Bell?
don't believe me, break down that lie.
Hold on there. Why every time I invite this program, you always take a time to come up for the program? Why on the politician stay so?
No. Listen.
No, I'm still Jeffrey and red pie.
Eat my breadfruit and chicken back, I will be fine. It's just my
Yeah, man,
breadfruit and chicken back getting.
You can't come off cameraman, my brethren, but we know it's not chicken back, it's steak. Why don't we just see what you're eating? Cause we don't want no jelly back. We don't want no more jelly back, Prime Minister. Remember, I want to eat better than the rest of us.
I don't eat steak. Bring my breadfruit and chicken back. Come
again. Oh, hold on there, coming now. I have with me one of Jamaica's finest son of the soil, a man who don't mince word to speak, Major Robert Finch Smith.
Yes, sir. Evening.
Welcome to the program, sir. I have with me Luke George Cook, Marie, Sir Colin Bell with him chicken back and breadfruit.
You want to see it?
No.
I might show you and get you hungry.
Sir Smith.
Sir.
Do you believe that gunmen take charge of this country and the government is clueless in what they're doing?
They have taken charge, you mean?
Yes.
There was a time when I could, as a security consultant, tell you that in order to be safe, you don't go out after certain hours. Now, things can beset themselves on you any time of night or day.
What is it going on in the Belarus security force that takes around money? A lot of Jamaicans and a lot of people around the globe is saying, or in the diaspora is saying that it looks like there's some setup thing going on there.
Well, I think the last set of arrests just a couple of days ago have indicated that there seems to be internal collusion.
Oh?
Yeah. One of the people that was doing the shooting was identified as a former security officer from Beryllium. And they have suspected one of the people who was delivering the money or picking up the money as being involved.
But Mr. Smith, what construct a proper security plan for Jamaica that we can probably start to see some increment of the security force being able to control the outrage of criminality that is taking over the country?
First thing you need to know is who you're looking for.
Then you don't think them know, Mr. Smith?
Excellent. Glad that you opened that door. So what you doing about picking them up?
No, but remember that some of them sit with politicians, so it's difficult.
I don't care if them sit in Jamaica House or Garden House. What you doing about picking them up?
No, I mean, you want me to do it as a lone sheriff? Me not have that.
I'm asking about the security forces that you pay money to.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't the security force compromised to some extent because the man at the top tend to?
Luke?
What suddenly cut you off?
Luke, what is going on? They cut you off, Luke?
Maybe them picked him up.
Listen to me to be able to say to that. So Smith.
Yes, sir.
Based on what Mr. Luke George was asking you believe that the JCF and other security apparatus around Jamaica is that's supposed to secure the country is compromised?
To some extent, yes. And I'll tell you why I say so. We had a program, or still do, where you take youngsters and you put them in the military and you put them through some training, yes?
Yes.
Then you send them home.
Madness.
With what, you know, what they call it now, what source of employment. So now you have people trained in military tactics, loose on the road, with no direction or control.
And it begs to ask the question, I wonder if the Jamaica Constabulary Force, led by the former Chief of Staff, who is now the Ambassador of Plentiful, I wonder if they did that deliberately.
I am not ascribing motive to anyone. The most I can do is state the facts, and you decide as the jury which side of the verdict you wish to come down on. Let me put it to you this way, and what I'm about to say is irrefutable.
Yes.
I know of at least one case, I'm certain there are others, but I know of at least one case where one of these youngsters, during training, went to their NCO and said, I have a court case to give witness in. So on this given day, I will not be able to. What he didn't realize was that in the JDF, you're accompanied to court by an NCO.
Oh.
So the NCO got dressed in his khaki and soldier got dressed up and they proceeded to the court. Only to find out that the soldier was not the witness, the soldier was the accused.
What?
What this now asks of us is, what is the sanctity of the background checks being done?
Yes.
So that's one. How many more have slipped through the cracks?
So in other words, Mr.
You can't send people a letter from a politician to join something like it's not crash program work. It's military operations.
Quincy, I do business that you just say a while ago, you know.
Then who you see me smiling?
A serious something that you just talked about a while ago, you know.
Me asking if you see me smiling.
So a man get into the army, having a case in court.
Yes.
And the army never know.
Nope.
It's not the same army though that I know.
Not the one I grew up in, no.
Let me ask Mr. Smith this question, and I have Luke, George Cook, and Marie come in. Because I don't want the female to leave to feel as if she's left out of this conversation at all.
You could have left her out by any stretch of the imagination.
Mr. Smith, when you were in the Jamaica Defense Force, because I know people in the JDF. I have a very good friend of mine who's like a brother who is a Caymanian but grew up in Jamaica, was in the JDF. I know the former Commissioner of Police, Admiral Hard Lewin, who is a no-nonsense person.
Yep.
Let me ask this question though. The JDF of yesterday and the JDF of today, is a total different JDF when it comes on to personnel and even comes on to help to well, they put them out on the road now, so they have to help to fight the crime in Jamaica.
The problem is that the JDF has become police in green. There was a time when we left camp, everybody run, go home. Soldier, they come. Now, they want to pick argument and fight with them. But understand, the police are trained to apprehend. Soldiers are trained to kill.
There's a saying that familiarity breeds contempt.
Oh, yes. Play puppy dog, it'll lick your face.
Long time.
So in other words,
hold on, I'm trying to understand that police are trained to apprehend, and soldiers are trained to kill.
Yes,
but
sir.
the breed of soldiers, what is that?
I said yes. Exactly. I agreed with you.
Yeah, but hold on. Once upon a time, without the train to kill, because I don't know the train to kill part that I like that part there too much. I think say if a man has served him country and he must serve the security force, that he must do a credible job and earn the respect of people. Soldiers
No.
up until
soldiers are not trained to out there like police.
No, but hold on. Yeah, I understand that, Bell. I understand that, but once upon a time, as Mr. Smith said a while ago, when people hear say soldier come, them run. But there was also a respect that was accorded to soldiers by the Jamaican people, where we didn't question their credibility. We knew that they were men who, for some reason, they were going to come out and they were going to perform, and they were going to perform exceptionally. That has watered down. In addition to that, Mr. Smith, we saw a massive recruitment of young men into the JDF on the outgoing colonel, chief of staff. And most of these young men were given some paramilitary training, but they were not, they did not secure a place in the army. And have they come out now to be added to the numbers of people that we can probably attribute this boldness that we're seeing in this new dispensation in the criminal activity?
Have you seen film clips of these guys doing robberies?
Them look properly trained.
Do you know what that is called?
What's that is called?
Fire and movement.
Oh, so it's a military training tactile.
Yes, I fire, I keep you down, my brethren moves. He fires,
okay.
Down,
hold on there for me. Hold on there for me. So in other words, Mr. Smith, in this video then that I'm going to show is something like this then.
Simple.
It's just something like that, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, simple.
My God.
So Jeffrey.
So hold on here. Luke, you're going to come in, Luke. So hold on here now, Mr. Smith. Is it that Jamaica is becoming the second Haiti of the Caribbean then?
We like to be first in everything, so we might get first place soon.
Luke George, go.
But all right, so Mr. Smith, you're saying that a lot of those young people that were trained under that program, that the chiefs of staff could be absorbed, and what we're going to be seeing is more daylight scene like the one we saw in Mandeville, and 6 people get shot. So as you are now trained to give consult and advice, what do you say to us as citizens? What do we do at this point? Because nobody seems to be off. Nobody seems to be off the radar.
Take your COVID advice and turn your yard.
Then when we stay away, how we manage?
I don't know, son. But what is happening? What is happening is this: if we know who people are, we need to put together squads that go for them. Also, you need to fix the laws that said if I catch the man I looking for in your yard, your house is forfeit. Harboring a criminal is no longer just a charge. I can seize your house.
Sir Smith, I don't know if you can remember when you just finished training. You feel like you couldn't dead. You feel like you're invincible.
There was a level of invincibility, yes.
Yes. And if we are training these youngsters and not taking them to the army, that's how they feel. When you leave Newcastle, you feel like you're Superman.
Yeah, but go further. A man of 25 in the inner city is called elder, which says a lot about life expectancy.
Yeah.
So the whole song say back to back, belly to belly, I don't give a damn. I done dead
already.
Marie?
So in other words, we don't need a crime plan. What we need to do is get guns.
No, what you need is that.
Hold on to me. Marie, it is coming from your end. This is the background. Let me go.
Okay.
ahead, Luke.
So what you say? Everybody in Jamaica must get gun because. But how does that look for us now, Sir Smith, on the international stage? How that are going to build up investor confidence and how that are going to make people feel more secure being here in Jamaica?
News is now international within seconds. How does it look to say that in a place like Mandeville, at the time of date occurred, people with assault rifles are attacking a main banking structure? 6 of one half does not the other. You get a bad name whichever way you slice that cake. Has it ever occurred to anybody, let me throw the cat amongst the pigeons, that the Chinese workers here, a lot of them are military trained?
You touched on a very important point, and that is so true. Go ahead, sir.
And why is that?
So barbarians might be at the gate as we speak.
Oh.
And who knows what comes in with the equipment that comes to them when it's coming through a port owned by them.
We're in serious trouble.
We've been in serious trouble. But you see, we're
So
a country that deals with optics. If it look good, it is good. It's like you look on a young lady who is dressed to the nines, pretty like money, and you walk next to her and discover that it wasn't extended to her body odor.
Hmm.
So it's pretty, but it stinks.
So Princess Smith, as a security consultant, a former member of the Jamaica Defense Force, a Jamaican by birth, you came here by labor pain, not by aeroplane. Now party pain.
There you go. Born and brought up in Deanery Avenue, Vineyard Town, 11B Deanery Avenue. Backbush and McGregor Gully was my playground.
Yes. Let me ask you this question, sir. What you see going on in Jamaica, the land that we love? You have places like St. Elizabeth, who used to be a parish so quiet, now becoming so violent.
Don't try own a gaming box in a St. Elizabeth, you know, them coming for them.
There you go. What should it, what sort of plan should we have? Because obviously, and I know my good friend Mr. Bell gonna say no, Jeffrey, stop it. But I'm gonna say, when you see that the two political party has failed the people of this country when it comes down to securing the people of Jamaica, as a security consultant, what would you say to our people? What should we do apart from turn our yard?
First thing I have to tell you is this. I have this firm belief that is the problem. We look for complex solutions to simple problems. Everybody want to appear like them bright, so everybody come up with these fanciful academic ideas.
Yes.
It's very simple. I know that you are a gunman. I shouldn't be living behind bars. You should be. So whilst you are having time in all the Airbnbs and driving your Range Rovers and everything else, I am locked up in my yard hoping you don't visit.
And before I let Marie come in and Luke George and Comrade Bell, let me
chicken back done.
In chicken back done, man. That's all you can afford. That's all you can afford, and the Labour Party government is chicken back.
Imagine him, but him not look like him a live behind bars. Him look like him a enjoy himself in a Portland. And down there, so the drugs come, Mr. Smith, and the gun them still a come.
I am still happy that Portland is the most peaceful parish in Jamaica. I'm going to keep it that way.
Hold on, Mr. Bell, hold on. Mr. Smith, no, I can lose my train of thoughts now. Based on this, if the port of Jamaica is owned by a foreign national, a communist government owned Jamaica's port, Is it that there are more guns coming into Jamaica than around the seas of Jamaica?
I am not in a position to confirm or deny that. What I'm saying is this. When you put forward a simple solution with far-reaching effects, people walk around you. Let me give you one. We have a very porous coastline.
Yeah.
And people would go fast boats and airplanes that touch down in short stream and things. They have no fear because by the time we respond, them gone. A place called Vernon Field, to the best of my knowledge, may still belong to the US. They built it in World War II.
That's what I was told. It still belongs to the US. As I was told, at least for how many years?
It is in fact the thickest runway that I know of in this country. It also has bunkers under it for both fuel and for storage.
So
I made a suggestion
Go ahead.
that what we should have done is to make that place available to the United States for their use as a base for Black Hawk helicopters. Use the runway and thing down there, and when you're bringing in anything that requires inspection by air, it lands there. Once it has been inspected, you put it on containers and use the highway and bring it in. If you have Black Hawk helicopters sitting there, anybody that approaches the coastline of Jamaica is open to interception by these helicopters. We don't have to pay for the fuel. We don't have to pay for the maintenance. And with Gitmo sitting over there on a knife's edge, the United States would give its left ball to have a base in Jamaica. The surrounding areas would suddenly get very profitable with United States airmen and that type of thing sitting out there and shopping and living. We could put part of the Jamaica Defense Force out there to maintain our sovereignty on the base whilst they're getting trained in it. You also lift up out of their drones, which could not only help patrol our internal things, could they patrol our coast as well. Now, I dare anybody to find the flaw.
The only question, Finzi, is will the US take up that suggestion?
I think
have we ever offered them it? Didn't hear Finzi. What is that?
I think they would grab it with both hands. Where
But
have
no
you ever heard the United States deny access to a base?
Nowhere.
Somebody say, I am giving you a military base in my place. Where have they ever denied that access? Right now, the only time the Colombians and everybody have any problem with them drug runs and things is when they draw close to Miami and run into the helicopters there. Here, they would have to cross our lines to get to the United States, so we'd have an early detection system. Again, find me the fault.
Marie, go ahead.
Yes, are you hearing me better now?
Loud and clear from Negril Point to Moran Point.
Very well. Yes, but I was saying earlier when we were talking about the criminal elements with the heist on the weekend, and there was a time when law enforcement, both police and the JDF, were very well respected in the community. So to teachers, doctors, nurses, all those people, firefighters, they were respected in the community. But through the years, and decades, a breakdown took place, I guess with indiscipline and all of that, a breakdown took place, and so now no longer are they respected. And like Mr. Smith said, you play puppy lick your mouth, right? So they don't longer respect the JDF, because I remember as a little girl growing up, you don't want the JDF passing through you hear, as a matter of fact, I was terrified of helicopters. I would hide under anything from a helicopter, but there was that level of fear out of respect for these institutions. It's no longer that. But also, I've always said that these heists are being conducted by people who are trained. This is not a little guy who sit down the road and decide that, okay, they bring money to the bank to service the ATMs, I'm going to hold up the bank. This is not that kind of thing. These are organized, trained people carrying out these acts. And the police with their, they have this, a lot of them are very aggressive. And I believe that some young people who have a criminal intent become police officers, so they now can, be criminals with a badge and a gun. So a lot of that is happening, but the majority of police officers or the majority of law enforcers, members of the law enforcement branch in Jamaica, are good, honorable, hardworking people. But the few bad apples make the whole system look bad. But there are good, honorable people there. It's a matter of addressing those who have criminal intent. And weed them out.
No, but Marie, Marie, there is a lot of what Jimmy said, and there has to be a part two to this. One, he's saying that, look, we have trained them not called Robert Jimmy as well.
I didn't know.
Oh, all right. Bobby. This is what Bobby. Them called Bobby. It's Bobby. Me know the pet name. What he's basically saying is that here it is that between 2011 between 2015 to 2022, the JDF recruited over some 10,000 young men, and they were trained. And after them tell them, boy, you're not good for the military, them send them home. The young people were complaining bitterly that the JDF was just using them for money making because they had no intention of keeping them. And as Jimmy now said, that it was the first time we ever saw the military so close to politicians, that people were wondering if it was now succeeded to the office of the Prime Minister, and therefore he could do with it as he pleased. But it means, Marie, that we have all these young men out there, and Jimmy said this tactile style is basically a shoot and secure. Shoot and secure. So you are going to be seeing, if we don't go now in short order, and the man give the next solution. Why is it that if you can use the military base to test what is coming in here? And Jeffrey, it goes into that wider discussion, that why you see the US bring with we and them and use one little gay situation is because them know something more going when me and you don't know. We are uninformed, but this brother here, I give you ball by ball. Say, this Vernon field could be used for that, but it's not being used for it. And it reinforced the point. Crime is the major earning for the big boys them in this country. And therefore they are not prepared. They are not prepared to put in any safety net to stem it. So the people of Jamaica must now vote and get when PMP come to park, and Marie said they are the list of two evil and bell like Bobby. When PMP come to power, they must make Bobby the Minister of National Security, and let us see somebody working assiduously with small solution to stem a national problem, because we don't look good. We coming like the woman with the order, but we dress up to the night, and a pig in a lipstick is just still a damn pig.
But can I point out something to you?
You can point out several things, teacher.
All you need to do is increase the amount of polygraph exams yearly. And if them fail it, they're sidelined until you usher them out.
Bobby,
yes?
I once said to a radio host who is a former politician that politicians must also do polygraph tests, and he laughed me to scorn.
Yeah, because everybody would fail it. Which politician you think, either side, can be in Garden House without having at least tactic knowledge of who the violence producers in their constituency are?
Every one of them know they are.
You must give them up.
Yes.
But they can't give them up.
Like this.
They cannot give them up.
So hold on.
Why not?
Hold on
Bell,
for me.
how them will give them up when the boy them have more money and can outclass them with maneuver now? How do they do that unless them have a Bobby who is the Minister of National Security, who don't have none of them as him friend and is going to go? Bell, don't boy like say we never know where they're going to Spanish Town with a certain man, you know, and that the man they have him and in the two party them. We don't behave like we don't know enough. The problem is you don't have enough, you don't have the willpower by the politician to change the trajectory of this country because they are beneficiary of it. And what these no good Robin Hood think them doing, them give liquor to the people, them for keep them interests around them and for protect them, while they raid and murder and tarnish this country. And it is now that the whole of affair live behind bar. And you see,
watch this.
You see,
we need a police force.
A gun we have to get now, Bell.
What we have now in Jamaica, because remember that the police commissioner used to be the advisor to the Prime Minister. Being the advisor to the Prime Minister in a time when the crime was spiraling. And what we did is to make him commissioner of police. Gov Jamaica, in a poll carried out by Dan Anderson, 93% of Jamaicans say we have no confidence in the commissioner. We have no confidence in the Minister of Security. But yet still, a year, almost 2 years after, those people are still in charge. Jamaica.
Well, you see, you see, when you see, this is why you need to have the Integrity Commission and you need to put Bobby on it. Because what we don't have in Jamaica is enough people with enough balls and the know-how to make sure. Can you see it? The man said polygraph test. If them did not do it, maybe we could have sidelined enough for them. How much of us are going to take to the street tomorrow to ensure that is implemented? And who them are going to send come on my yard and your yard, Bell? Because them can't go Bobby yard, you know, because right now me I look at space up there. Because I am willing to fight a revolution, but I don't see anybody for really stand up for fight with, because most people are sell out. Me don't want nobody use me as no sacrificial lamb. And the man I said the gun where me I gonna apply for is no solution because the boy them have better training than me. Which means that.
Do you know what the problem is? Let me tell you what the problem is. The problem is that we are looking to cure something that we don't even know what the disease is. Start simple. Al Capone caused millions of people to be living in fear while he killed thousands, either personally or by influence. They never got him for murder. They got it for tax evasion.
Talk to me.
Follow the money. How somebody drive a Range Rover or a Mark X or a BMW or a Mercedes Benz with no discernible kind of income?
But Bobby, remember now, there are 6 people in the parliament under investigation for illicit enrichment.
And nobody wishes to say who they are.
But Bobby,
Colin,
when become Shaggy, wasn't me.
There's a gag order on the cabinet now. Nobody in the cabinet can speak.
Yes, but you know, this is the thing. The Fox is watching
but them can't leak the name to the rest of it. We can't call them.
But in the same way that they leaked Chairman James's information to a media, they can leak the rest of it. Yes, but the Fox is watching the hen house, because you have the Integrity Commission, and when the Integrity Commission gives a report. It goes to the oversight committee. Who are the members on the oversight committee? The very people that they're investigating. So that there's no credibility. There's a credibility problem right there. It should be an independent body that is the oversight committee. If you have members of the government and opposition on the committee, it should only be one of each. So one member from the government, one from the opposition. But it shouldn't be that they're the ones dominating the oversight committee. So they're the ones being investigated, and then they're the ones.
Hold on there for me. Under our constitution, you know, and that is why we need constitutional reform. I know Bobby will agree with this. The constitution gives the government more power, both in the Senate and in the oversight committees. Am I correct, Bobby?
Yes, it does.
So in
yes,
other words,
I read that. Yes, I read that.
We need to have a total overhaul of our constitution, and we can't have the same people who are being investigated now. They are the one who's going to draft the new constitution. There's something wrong with it.
No, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. Is the president going to be ceremonial and the GG by another name, or is the president going to be an elected person who is going to be elected based on his or her policies? Now, let us go back to my original statement some time ago. People didn't like it, but I don't give a damn. Jamaica is the largest remaining plantation on earth, undergoing the longest slave revolt in history. That is why you have people at bleach for reach. You have people who don't like themselves, and they now don't have to be defeated. They've already defeated themselves. They've defeated themselves because they don't think they are worth it. We are all to blame. Let me help you. Go to school, get an education, get a qualification, get certification, and get a job.
Get a job.
Once you are told that, you're back on the plantation. Why didn't we say to people, do all of that and own something? People who own something do not destroy it. People who own something have a generational ability to pass it down to their children and their children's children. What has brought me back sharply in focus is my last child. I have 6 of them, 3 boys, 3 girls. And my last child just graduated from KC, and October coming, he'll be 18. And I say, I'm good. Free at last, free at last. And then my second daughter give me a grandson. And my first boy is giving me another grandson, God willing, and the creek don't rise in January. So now my concerns become deeper. What am I leaving these 2 boys? Can I sit back and watch them emerge into the quagmire? People ask me, why you don't go into politics? Because I can swim don't mean I want to go wading in the sewage pond. When you come out the other side, you're still going to smell like SHIT.
I want to say this to you, my brother. Constitutional reform is important.
Yes.
But this present administration does not have the moral authority to deal with constitutional reform.
Well, I won't even go as far as to speak about moral authority. First thing I'm saying is, do you have the recipe for a French omelette? First, you get the egg. This set of people don't have the egg, but they're telling you how good the omelette going to taste. When you don't have a definitive course as to what is your intention as to the presidential part of a republic.
But can I ask a question? I want to ask a question. Why is it that we need a president and a prime minister? Why we can't just have one?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what the thing is. The other question is, have you been asked what kind of republic you want? Has anybody sitting here been asked that question?
No, because until
No,
now,
no.
until now, the lady, until now, the good lady who is the Minister of the Constitutional Affairs, along with the Deputy Chairman, the Ambassador of Plentiful, hasn't asked the people of Jamaica what they really want.
No. They've told
No,
you,
but
it's like the
Jeffrey,
good old days when you're going back to school and them give you molasses and castor oil. Take this, it's good for you.
but Jeffrey, they didn't ask, but we didn't demand. And because they didn't ask that we didn't demand, and because we are so politicized, because you see, again, my day I start telling my brethren Bell says, stop talk about labor right wicked. PMP has committed some atrocity, and that is why young people don't. Smith, hold on, Smith, let me just start. Because me try to be an advisor. You feel like, you see, Jimmy are our advisor. Me I try to be an advisor. That is why young people between the age of 15 to 24 believe that none of the political parties are honest. So when we talk about this administration, yes, we can label it one of the worst administration because they have demonstrated very high hand. Them don't want to listen to nobody, and them arrogant is astounding. But look here, I am not going there with you. But you now listen to your advisor. You don't win an election by joining. In other words, try a Michelle Obama. When them go low, go high. Because the country don't need not more for them. The country don't need not more for divide. We know. The country don't need that for divide anymore. Now, what we need is leaders like you who are going to come and take us, create that paradigm shift. But going back to what Smith is saying, with all our we see now, here is the challenge for us. Who is going to take up the role? Now that we have an understanding that we can use Vernon Field to vet what is happening, we have to question why we have information now to say we know that the Chinese that are coming into the country are basically military. We don't know what is coming in, and therefore we don't know if we, the United States, have something in the communication that says that weapons are being transported to other areas for some reason, and that is why the United States is in a row with us. We need to clear that row. But as we're sitting here, Bell, Smith said, none of us is secure. So me can come off of that program and your ear say me dead. What is it? What is it that we are going to do now on this 28 days of August as a citizen to guarantee that at least we are pushing back on the people who are going to their several Airbnb, driving some of the largest vehicle, turning up at political parties and rally, inputting money into that, raping, killing our children, intimidating the citizen. What can we do now? Now, because this is a matter of urgency and of great modernity. What do we do now to guarantee security for the Jamaican people?
It's a financial crime. Make it an unfortunate thing to be having stuff you can't vouch for. Make it unfortunate that if you're driving a Benz and you can't say where you get the money to buy the Benz, we're seizing it and locking you up.
Okay.
And that's at every level. And that's at every level, correct? That's at every level, from the top down to the bottom up.
But the man up at Beverly is, Smith, I think like the man of Beverly is a smoking village. That's it.
Hold on, one at a time, please.
Here's where
Hold on, I want to hear my friend there.
I start at the most visible. And the only thing I see is when I look up. Because a lot of the people down the bottom take their cue from what they're seeing up top.
Okay.
Anywhere this is enrichment, we need to clean it out.
Yes.
Anyway.
And the problem is when you try to flush that toilet, the tank won't bust too.
It must bust.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to tear down the building and build a new one.
So hold on there now. Is it that Comrade Bell is saying that if a People's National Party should form the government tomorrow morning, and if there's corruption going on in there, wherever it is, your party is willing to take it out?
I am saying to you that if this Jamaica Labour Party,
I'm asking you a question. No. I ask you a question, Mr.
And
Bell.
I'm answering the question this way. If this Jamaica Labour Party was the People's National Party, I would not be a part of it. I want no part of it.
Do you know?
I'm a patriotic Jamaican. When I signed up, hold on. When I signed up for the military, it wasn't a draft. I do it voluntarily.
Well,
because it means tomorrow morning that I need to take up arms to defend this country, I am ready.
Let me let you all into.
Who is tearing down this country by stealing from the poor people of Jamaica, by stealing from our children, must go to prison and wear short pants.
But I can go better than that, sir. Decades ago, I attended a conference. And you know, these conferences, they ask you to identify yourself from where you're from. And I was a subaltern at the time, and I get up and announce myself. I said, Jamaica. And the colonel from the United States who was in charge of the region said, Jamaica. I said, yes, sir. He said, you got a very interesting country there, man. I said, yes, sir. He said, you got a political party, and from time to time, we may find a criminal in it. But you have a criminal organization, and from time to time, we find a politician in it.
Hold on there. Robert Finzi-Smith, repeat what you said a while ago, please.
Do it in a patois.
That we have an interesting country. That was then, still is now. But we have a political party, and from time to time, you might find a criminal in it. But they have a criminal organization, and from time to time, you find a politician in it.
My God.
No, them days you didn't have PowerPoint. You had slides. Some people who came up on the slides are still in Gordon House.
Da da dee, da da do.
You know,
and therein lies the problem that Jamaica is facing. Therein lies the problem. It is all well and good to talk about mandatory sentences for this crime and mandatory sentences for that crime. But when you look at the level of corruption that runs through every aspect of Jamaican life, and the people committing many of these atrocities against poor people have yet to be held accountable. Do
you know why they didn't like Portia Simpson Miller?
No.
She sent
Jackson to jail, yeah.
There was an
them never like her. Bobby, them never like her because she was authentic. She never speak the Queen English and try to come near them yard.
And she told Jack
exactly, George. She wasn't from the uptown ilk.
Hold on there. Hold on. What you said, Bobby?
She told Jack Smith to apologize, and Jack told her to go. So they followed through the court case, and he subsequently ended up in short pants.
But is it a disgrace, Robert Finzi-Smith, that until now, not another politician went to prison in this country?
Actually, some more went before that, in the 50s.
Go ahead.
Do you know the grand feeding ground of this country?
Apart from the JUTC?
Yes, man. The JUTC is a baby, son.
Parish councils.
No, sir. You're way off base. It's called the Ministry of Education. That's where schools disappear.
Yes, yes, I remember that one, Bobby. I remember. They built some schools and couldn't find them.
That is where subventions morph into mist. It's been happening for decades. They have one individual who was a permanent secretary. Them wouldn't even bring him home to bury him after he ran. It's been a traditional place of enrichment. You see, this country, they have two things. There's history and there's his story. Allow me to help you with history.
Please go ahead.
No Rastaman should ever pay to go stadium. When the stadium was being built, Norman Washington Manley had a little problem. Some games were coming up and he needed to get the stadium ready. Hugh Lawson Shearer decided that wasn't going to happen, so them call a strike. Edna Manley got a hold of her husband Norman and said, follow me. Up into Orica Hill to the Rasta people up there who were stone cutters. And because Edna was an artist and thing, they brought them down and it's them finished the stonework at stadium. So it could open for the games. The first time in history that a Rasta man worked on a construction site in Jamaica.
So Norman Manley put it in law that no Rastafarian should be charged to get into the stadium.
No, I'm saying it should be a stuff that them shouldn't have to, them bill it.
True.
And how I got a front seat. Me born a Vineyard Town. There's a lot of things without being politically bent that we need to acknowledge. Most things that you take for granted in this country was built by one set of people above and beyond the objections of the others. You just name something you consider a landmark and then check who built it.
Yes. So Robert Finzi-Smith, would you say that successful ministers of national insecurity and injustice and successful so-called commission of police twiddly dum-dums has failed the people of this country to secure them?
They have succumbed to the interest of the political people on either side of their divide, not to put their electoral capability in jeopardy by removing their enforcers. Now, it's like you have a good-sized pit bull crossed with a bull mastiff, and all of a sudden the collar can't fit it. So you can't hold it by the chain. You just have to wish it don't bite you.
Bobby?
Sir?
Bobby, has Jamaica ever had a national security plan?
I don't think it was a case where a security plan was needed. There was a security apparatus that everyone knew what their role was. Also, remember there was a time when you had policemen who were so revered in spite of their capability to rain death on you that they would look at you and say, meet me up at Central. And them go about them business, and when they reach Central, the man sitting on the step waiting on them. But now,
do we need to? Yeah, go ahead.
What has happened is this. I don't want to go into a history lesson. Jamaica is a tale of two gates. If you look down, all right, you realize that downtown property in Kingston is worth less than uptown property.
Yeah.
This is by design.
Yeah, man. All of it is.
Used to be held by landowners and things. There are two gates. A small gate leading to the veranda and a big gate leading round the back. No self-respecting person would allow a merchant up the small gate. They had to go around the back. As time went on and these merchants started to lose their economic viability, the merchants that they were scorning were gathering their funds. And when the table turned, they didn't buy into the property downtown that they were scorned from. They went uptown and bought out the pens, grant, spend the rest of it, and built their houses up there and allowed downtown to decay. To this day, you probably have a white woman living in what used to be our garage, wondering where all these black people came from. So we black people don't plan for tomorrow. Other nations plan for generations. So it is now coming to fruition, where the downtown property is being sold for cents on the dollar. And urban renewal is taking place because it is being pontificated as a hotbed of crime. And what them can shoot out, them way burn out. Anybody follow me drift?
Yeah. But you know, there's one company that is buying out the downtown property though.
Yes, sir.
And that there is a move to move the majority of people from downtown to St. Thomas. That is something that they have been looking at.
Which means that the road going out there will be needed more than sooner than later.
Yeah. So there is a plan by design. But you know, Bobby, but what is sad about it is that although this program with Bell, yourself, me, and Daisy and Jeff, we're educating Jamaicans who still think that they should support against party line. I have no problem with that. But I think if this education was coming from the political party, where if you're going to be uplifting the citizen, you're going to do it by helping them to understand how to defend themselves, to create wealth, and to get out of the mindset that going to school is going to give you an education, but there's no creation of wealth. Because do you notice in the curriculum, Bobby, there is no class that is taught about creating or becoming an entrepreneur at the earliest point in your life. So you're absolutely right.
You're not taught ownership.
You're absolutely right. And that is why even in this regentrification exercise that you see taking place, people are getting up now under this honest government and finding out that the properties that they're living on are gazetted, and that they, in very short order, the government is going to come. Because are they going to carry through, Bobby, with the plan to put the police command post at no man's land, the lands that were there collecting bodies of JLP and labor rights supporters in the 70s up to the late 80s, as a means of saying that they're stemming crime? Or is it that they're putting it there because fundamentally Parliamentary Square is coming to Hero Circle, but there is an extension of the port, and for them to continue to be able to continue the practice of dishonesty and terrorizing this country, they want to make sure that whatever they're sending out and carrying in is secure. So is there still a plan for the commissioner's office to be put in no man's land, a place that represents one of the darkest period in history for us, like the Eventide home, where bodies of Jamaicans were collected on a daily basis because they felt they were fighting for a political right, when literally what they were ensuring is that big man have the money, so him have the talk.
Well, let me go further for you. You see the thing that's the scourge of people now, that's called protection money.
Mm.
You know where that started?
No.
Downtown. Make sure they don't broke my shop and me give you money money.
Mm.
Yeah, that's where it started. That's the whole
that is when the big dog was a puppy. Now the chain, the collar can't fit it on the chain big. Bop, gone. Can't hold it.
Let me ask you a question, Princey Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it you never hear about a state of public emergency in Norbrook, Cherry Garden, now about the Vumvavon and the Vumvavi areas of Jamaica?
Because you might run the risk of somebody pick up somebody youngster sitting on them veranda smoking a spliff.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody up there troubles themselves with it, because as far as they're concerned, their children are immune to it.
But Bobby,
before you come in, Mr. Bell, I'll let you talk. I was told a couple days ago by a good friend of mine. We're in a conversation with some other people, and somebody said to me that every single morning a patrol car is sent up in the areas of Norbrook, Cherry Garden, Beverly Hills, and all those areas. When all the people of the Vumvavon, the Vumvavi start jogging around the area, that car patrol and drive past them and drive past them, go and drive past them, come. But if a person of Quincy Smith and a Jeffrey Tavares and a Luke George Cook should be dragging downtown Kingston or in Tivoli and Daisy. And of course, Comrade Bell will get the security details for him because he's, you know.
Comrade Bell live where the guns them come in. Please, may I beg you too.
But look here. That doesn't only happen in Jamaica.
No,
a friend of mine took me to an area in Fort Lauderdale recently.
Yeah.
And he drove me through the area and he said, I must observe. And when we finished, he said to me, so what you observe? I said, the place nice, some nice houses. I see yacht behind most of the houses. He said to me, so what else? I said, well, I see 1 and 2 police car. He said, no. Every avenue that you pass, there's a police car in it. It's all wealthy people living there. So they protect the wealthy. That's what is happening in Nabo. What I want to ask, Bobby, 11 or 12 hours was firebombed in Gregory Park a few weeks ago. Yeah. Why we didn't have a state of emergency around here?
Before that happened, there was somewhere else that got attacked.
Yes.
So why wouldn't you take up a couple front-end loaders and clear all the bush between them so nobody can sneak up?
Tell me.
Send somebody with some old GPS poles, sink them and put some solar lights on it so there is no darkness coming across there.
And some cameras.
And put some cameras in there, and every now and then 2 vehicles drive through to say, come now.
But you know something?
Why
you know something?
I don't know. Not my constituency.
You know something?
It come.
Bobby, Luke George, Marie, and my good friend Mr. Bell. You know something? The Prime Minister of this country, you know, they dubbed him as a demolition man. Who, because he's a Minister of Defense, he called out the Jamaica Defense Force and the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And he put drones and personnel over by Clifton to bulldoze down poor people land in Clifton. Until now, he hasn't told the people of Jamaica how much money it costs the country to deploy the members of the JDF and the JCF to go over there. All because they want to sell the land to the Vumva friend.
Have you found out who was formerly an ambassador to this country who owns land out there?
Well, I am aware of it, but I will not call in the name.
Likewise.
I'm fully aware of it. I'm fully aware of it. Even the tax. I saw Jeffrey shut him out. And the only person who was charged.
Jeffrey, why you can't call the person name?
No.
Lord, let me help you out. You see the same thing on Gregory Park with the grand announcement of the rebuilding? Now, legally, let me put you on the are we aware of whether or not the people who were burnt out are legally ensconced there? If not, if you are building back the land, you are encouraging squatting. Very similar to having bought what was obviously a counterfeit Adidas shorts in a street market that you would normally be clearing.
But I think what he wanted to do was to patronize the lady by buying the fake Adidas shorts from her.
Yeah, but you have people who are tearing down people's stalls, and I still ask a question. Where do all this food stuff and these counterfeit goods go once you have seized them?
That's the question I've been asking. I've asked the question, when they seize the guns in this country, why is it that they can't have a camera to show, okay, we have destroyed the guns that we have seized? Why is it that when they seize counterfeit shoes and whatever, as what Quincy Smith is saying, why can't we see the camera say, okay, we're destroying them? Where do they go? Is it that members of the JCF have them and go back out there and sell them?
Well, yeah, they sell them back to the people them take it from. And them don't
confirm
them don't melt down gun. But me still want to know why we can't call the ambassador name.
But do you know
I'm afraid I lawsuit, Rattigan have money for bailing out.
Do you know
have money to pay who?
Do you know
for the lawsuit?
Jamaica is a signatory to an accord that says that we should melt these weapons.
You know, I heard somebody with that.
Hold on. Which one of them that is Finch Smith?
I'm not certain which accord, but we signed it and said that weapons like that are to be destroyed, they're to be smelted.
Okay.
So why
do we do that though?
Why don't we start a grand foundry and started selling the metals?
No,
that's a good.
What they're doing.
That's a good idea.
It was brought to my attention, and I want the senior strategist to the Jamaica Constabulary Force to come out and say if I'm lying. It was brought to my attention from good source, credible source, that a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force is renting back these guns to these gunmen.
Which would come back to what is the sanctity of where they're stored.
There you go.
Jamaica needs an audit.
No, let me need more than audit, need a forensic audit. Now, let me put this to you. I can't stay much longer, so let me just put this on the table and flash. You have a situation where confidence is lacking. Some time ago, I suggested a solution, and I was looked at like I was a madman. So now let me make it public so I can be sent to Bellevue. You know, to stop a lot of these youngsters firing illegal firearms.
Oh.
Majority of the weapons being fired illegally are 9mm caliber.
Yeah.
Go to the United States, buy a portion of 9mm rounds, different brands, however. Get some reloading machines and get gunsmiths. You find them a dime a dozen in the States. Take off the warhead, replace some of the powder with plastic explosive and recap it.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it to Jamaica loosely, send it to the ghetto, and then go to the KPH doors and wait.
Not a bad suggestion. I agree.
Everybody who fire one of those, the gun will explode. After that, when you hand a youngster a gun, him look on you and tell you bad word and tell you go because he has no proof that it won't explode and then fire it.
Yeah.
But it is not going to happen.
But before you go,
the people of the effluence of society of Norbrook, Cherry Garden, and the people of the Vumbava and the Vumbavine will not solve Jamaica's crime pandemic, because they are part of it. Marie, looking at easy, you want to go to Marie?
Has it ever occurred to you how much money large security companies make?
No.
And how much of it they donate as campaign donation? You see, I shouldn't have stayed this long. I will create problems now.
No, man. We're being educated by you.
Which is why
bedtime, but
Which is why one of the things that you will find very difficult to pass in Parliament is the campaign donation legislation.
PMP are gonna pass it, man. PMP are gonna pass it. It's the party of the people, and we will PMP under Bell are going to pass it. Bell, me and all you accountable. The first piece of legislation must be passed in the Parliament by PMP, apart from early childhood education, is that legislation. But Bobby,
I am going to leave you guys doing. I have to leave,
You don't have any more chicken back, so you can stay with us because we are fasting.
No. I have another program that I have to go on at 9 o'clock and I have to prepare for it.
Oh, okay. You're in high demand. All right, Minister entertainment and sports.
Blessings, my brother.
But Bobby,
Yeah.
give us a roadmap to how do we as citizens play our part in stemming crime in the country. What do we do?
First thing you do is vote.
For PMP?
Whatever is different from what you're currently experiencing. The next
so Bobby, we damn if we do and we damn if we don't.
Put out a petition after that happens that says you need a campaign donation legislation and you need an impeachment process within the first 50, not 100 days. And after that, you need legislation that speaks to term limits. Someone can't take up politics as a lifelong ambition. Because what we have learned is that you're not here to serve, you're here to rule.
But Bobby, Bruce Bolin said it, and now this man, this Prime Minister said, listen to this.
Within the first 100 days of our government, we will start the legislative process to institute, and I want you to listen to me carefully, impeachment proceedings in Parliament. This will add another layer of protection of the Parliament to ensure that only members of unquestioned integrity sit in the Parliament.
By their deeds shall they be known.
By virtue of
shall they be known. The lady sitting here without encroaching on our private life knows well the sweet words that men speak to try and enter one's nether regions. And once having arrived there, they forget the original phraseology.
Jeffrey, you can learn from the man, lyrically genius. But Jeffrey, you played the clip and as KD Knight said, not my favorite kind of fight against Portia. Him never like woman and him talk the worst things about her. The man suffer from a pathological condition. He's a mendacious liar. He doesn't say anything that he actually means. But if you're going to use the analogy of reaching the destination that Bobby talked about, the land of never, never return, with the wrong motivation, you will keep on doing it as long as the lines are reaching who it's supposed to reach. In other words, we will not be able to stem corrupt politics within the first 50 days of a new administration. No. But Jeffrey, the onus is upon us that we have the legislation that we must now craft. We must know who give campaign fund and what they give it to. And we must ask for term limits for politicians so that people are not collecting. But in that too, we have to now make sure that we come up with creative solutions. And like what Bobby said, it might have the letters in madness. But it would mean that KPH would be flooded with people that we now will say, how did you arrive at these wounds? And we tried the polygraph for everybody, for all the public servants in the public service, because until we come up with those draconian measures, you're going to keep on getting what you're getting. And Mary and I are going out there to campaign heartily for Bobby to become the Minister of National Security, so that more Jack Smith can go to jail, because it was blatant when Royal Reid did what he did, and he was going to get a pass with Pinnock. Do you know how many inner city kids were deceived by Pinnock, that they were going to get a scholarship to go to Maritime Institute, and they rarely save up the little that they had? Fitz tell them, boy, I have so much. When I met Fitz, I thought that the man had the tongue of God, how he could just get funding. And largely, what Bobby have said tonight, Jeffrey, and Marie, and Luke George, take it serious. It is this level of double standard that have been created by our leadership at every level, church, civic, political, every level, that have the young people of Jamaica saying, the next time I'm hungry, you're going to see me 9. Yeah, that is largely what it is.
Let me tell you something. You know what the greatest crime in Parliament is?
No.
Nepotism.
And cronyism.
We should have a law indicating that no direct member of family can join parliament if one is already in there. Wait your turn. Too many husbands and wives. Too many fathers and sons. Government is not
and brothers and sisters.
Yes, too many stuff like that happening. Government is not a family affair. Government is service to your nation.
You know, I was wondering, Bobby, if this was becoming a dynasty. It seemed like we're installing kings because the line of succession goes to king. And the way how the prime minister behaved is clearly that he is king and an SSR Führer because nobody tests him. But the thing is that more and more Bobby you walk on the road and people say, he's going to win again because it's the man with the deeper pocket after win the election. And because everybody in Jamaica believe.
The people who are saying that form 20% of the electorate who elected him. And most of them are in a state of shock. But what I'm trying to point out to you is this. Listen carefully. I've lived long enough to have seen this before. In the 80s going to 90s, when Edward Philip George Siaga said, if I don't win this election, God is sleeping. And we remember what happened then. Jamaican people have a habit. Let me explain it to you. When the current government is in opposition, the country is aflame. They burn down everything. When the PNP is in opposition, they're quiet. They put things in place, but they're not burning down anything. It's two different types of opposition. But when people, I told somebody something the other day and they looked at me sideways. You see, if somebody vexed with you, you're good, because them can forgive you and hug you. It's when them start laugh after you, it's done. It is over.
Bobby,
and you must ask yourself where the laughter is coming from.
Bobby, before you go, I want to let Marie say something because I know Marie is past Marie's bedtime. Jeffrey, behave yourself. Marie, go ahead.
It is certainly past my bedtime and tomorrow is my birthday, so
Wow.
Happy birthday when it comes.
Thank you, darling. Thank you,
Marie. I hope one of these days we can have a drink of Drunk Bro together.
Anytime. Just say the word. You know how to reach me. Yes, yeah. But in this something Andrew Holness said in his speech about impeachment proceedings to make sure only members of parliament with unquestioned integrity. Those are the operative words there, unquestioned integrity. He's yet to find the people with unquestioned integrity. So no wonder you have a bunch of people who are just corrupt sitting in the parliament right now, and nobody can hold them accountable. They're yet to be held accountable. And the problem that Jamaica is having is accountability. There's a lack of transparency. At every level, there's a problem with corruption, accountability, and transparency. You have this Royal Reed situation. And then it goes back to the DPP, who has the authority to investigate and prosecute some of these people. And she's not doing it. So who does she work for? Yet she's granted an extension. To do what?
She's
to
working for Delroy Truck. She's working for Delroy Truck and the Labour Party. Go ahead.
Exactly. And the thing is, to think that they're reforming the Constitution while trampling on it, you cannot trust them to reform the Constitution. As a matter of fact, the political directorate should not be responsible for reforming the Constitution because they're going to craft it to suit themselves and their friends. And you talk about nepotism. Mr. Simmons just mentioned the word nepotism. That is a problem. If you want to get rich, become a Jamaican politician. The poorest of politician in Jamaica will start with $0 in his account. And the minute he or she wins a seat, wins their seat, that person's a multi-millionaire going all the way up to billionaire status. While the people who elected them, put them into office, are poorer for it. So it's a matter of helping Jamaican people understand that they have to vote for their own interests right now, because these politicians are not representing their interests. There are two political parties, and like Luke said, you know, the lesser of the two evils. But we have to start somewhere. And with the minute you begin to hold them accountable, you know something, you see, when one politician goes to jail, starting at the top, one of those six of them, then we will start to see a change in the direction of politics in Jamaica. But until then, if it is business as usual, you're going to have this problem of corruption, cronyism, nepotism, and when you don't have law applied across the board only for a few, and it's the few at the majority at the bottom. The few doesn't apply to the few at the top, but it applies to the majority at the bottom. You're going to have a problem. It's supposed to apply across the board.
You know something like that. Marie touched on that. And somebody made a video and used the same video back to the PNP. When the former Prime Minister Bruce Golding was in power, or when he was campaigning, he used a word that come back to haunt the Labour Party, you know. Listen to this, Sir Francis Smith.
That is the difference between them and us. A few will continue to plunder poor people's money because we will have to continue to live with the rampant corruption that has characterized this government, of which the Prime Minister has been a part from beginning till now.
Let me leave you with this.
It was premonition.
Tell a lie. Make it a big lie. Tell it with confidence. Tell it repeatedly, and it becomes the truth. Do you know who the author of that statement was?
Edward George Philip Thiago.
No, Adolf Hitler.
Oh. My God.
Of what you're dealing with, you can see some comparisons. For instance, Goebbels was the head of propaganda. You might find somebody currently serving that fits the description.
Yes.
A minister of information cannot be a minister of propaganda.
I know Marie wants to go, so I'll let Marie go, and Francis Smith and Luke and I can stay for a couple more minutes.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Jeffrey, no. Jeffrey, you know, me I try to get this trilateral and the bilateral agreement going. I have been passing papers and I'm not making any money by being on your show, but I love being on your show because the education here is enriching.
Yes, you hold a minute. You hold a minute. We don't bilateral and political. Sir Francis Smith,
Sure.
Your closing words before you go. What is your advice to our fellow Jamaicans in this time when we're knocking behind our island back door?
Encourage our young people to own something and make it possible for them to do so. If they own it, they won't destroy it.
And what advice would you give the government of Jamaica pertaining to security?
Stop talking and start acting.
Yes.
Not everything good for talk. It's not a sideshow. They have a thing in the circus when the trapeze artist falls. Them say send in the clowns to distract the people. Too many clowns in the arena right now.
Yes.
And we're missing the blood that's on the floor. And nobody even thinks it might be smart to put up a net. But people will fall, but you can stop them from dying. Have you seen the state of the hospitals?
I'm aware of it. I've been sent videos upon videos of disgrace.
Okay. So if anything happens to you, it's better you're dead. Don't go to hospital.
As an older statesman, an older Jamaican who has been in the military, I want to let you go now. Where do you see Jamaica going? Is there a 2030 vision for Jamaica? As what you said, you're worried about your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren and so the likes. Is it that we're leaving a Jamaica behind for our children of Jamaica where the crime and corruption is out of whack?
For us to get anywhere near 2030 vision, we need to buy some glasses.
Some thick one too.
Thick ones. And it don't have to be orange or green. It just have to be clear. So when we see something, we know what we're looking at, not what we want it to be.
Major Robert Finch-Smith.
Sir.
A son of the soil. A former member of the Jamaica Defense Force security consultant. Thank you for coming onto the program, sir.
Thank you for inviting me, sir. I hope I didn't cause you too much trouble.
No, and I hope you come back on as often as you can.
As often as I can, so yes.
Thank you so much, Sir Smith.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. That was former member of the Jamaica Defense Force, Major Robert Finch-Smith. We're still going to continue a little bit more with my good friend Luke George. We're not going to stay along with Luke because I don't want Luke to cut my neck off. Luke, you see we're in down to very Beanie Man. There was a video circulating on social media where a well-known singer, outspoken entertainer Beanie Man, taking the government to task. I see we're in the Reverend Mark Stewart is also taking the government to task. In all the years of living in Jamaica, have you ever seen so much people come out public and lashing against this government, Luke?
I'm having a little Wi-Fi problem. Lime look like them a jam. Lime look like them a jam. The signal. Interestingly, I have there's 3 sets of internet in this house, and all of them seem to be Lime. How stupid of us! But the fact of the matter is that the government, as we know it, has lost its people have lost respect for government. The young are saying that they're a bunch of thief and criminals. The old are saying that nothing can change. Them life from morning were gone bad, morning can come good at evening. Your panel this evening, I'm happy that somebody else is seeing it the way I am seeing it, and I have expressed it in frank, except for the ambassador part, which me don't know why I can't call people name.
No,
as long as you say it's alleged, we should be able to get it.
Luke, I will tell you off here who the ambassador is. There's a lot of people
no, it's our
program that I have to be very careful.
Okay.
Go ahead, my brother.
So Jeffrey, the challenge of us is to be truthful to ourselves and make sure that we go out there and we explain to people what is at stake. You have an excellent platform here where you're informing the Jamaican people so that they can make more meaningful choice when it comes to how they decide at the ballot box. And to that, on that note, people said to me, not realizing that I was ill for some time. People didn't know I was. Well, a lot of people still don't know that I've been ill for some time, but getting the treatment, and as Finch-Smith says, going to the hospital here can be excruciating. So it is quite expensive that I've been getting a lot of the help that I need privately. But now that the situation has gone beyond getting private treatment, I've gone publicly. And I just know the frustration of that. And it is for that reason why I've taken a very bold step this year to try to put textbooks into the hands of 300 and odd children and pay tuition fee for 10 students who are at the university level, and 30 students who need assistance with school fee. That has approached me because I'm inundated with requests every day for help with back to school. I don't want to educate the next set of Jamaican to get an education, just to do something. So we need mentors. We need people here in Jamaica who can volunteer, because we're going to. I'm working with and I'm trying to get as much help from your audience and else. Please, I want to look at a comprehensive youth development program that we can work, whether we're going to call it the national youth core.
That's why I had said to you that come tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. We're going to dedicate that hour, both on Roots FM and on this program, for you to promote and tell people where they can reach you to assist the needed Jamaicans, students who are in the inner city who needs help. Because you have a program that's going on, it's going on fine. Very good program.
Yeah, and I would like to thank one of your listeners, Freedom. I'm not sure she's listening today. She was instrumental in raising 162,000 Jamaican dollars to the tune of about 700 Canadian and 400 US dollars. She was one of the first people to donate. We have two other people have donated out of the 8,100,000 that we're trying to raise. So technically, we have gone roughly 200,000 out of that, and we're anticipating some more commitments coming up. But it's time for us to not just talk, but we need to act. We need to educate them in two ways, Jeffrey. We need to educate them with the formal education, but if we could get the mentorship program going, where you could positively impact in the life of a young person. We want to do smaller homework program for students, and we want to make sure that they have a hot meal. We want to develop a social part of program as well, where they can get additional skill. But at the end of the day, they must become critical thinkers. If we don't train critical thinkers, Jeffrey, then we are going to be talking about this crime situation in the next 10 to 15 years without any possible solution inside. So I'm excited about this opportunity, that in the midst of the chaos and the crisis, that I will not sit back as a Jamaican and watch a group of undesirable despots take this country where it should not go. I will not equip myself with a gun, but I will equip my voice to go out there and to talk to people and to reason. And it's so powerful because it falls into the mantra of how you start this program, where leaders use discussion as a means of getting what they want. And I believe that we must all do it. I'm also supporting you, Jeffrey Tavares, that we must start Met We Talk Jamaica campaign, where you put out those shirts with very positive message. Corrupt leaders are trying to take Jamaica to a Haitian stage. We, the Jamaican, promise to stand up.
We'll talk about that off air. Don't give any ideas on here. We'll talk about that off air. Please. We'll talk about it off air.
All right, but the time has come, and if it's not us, then who? And if it's not now, then when? We have to make our voice be heard, and we are more than them. It's a handful of despots compared to people who genuinely love Jamaica. And I'm not talking about people who talk about, I would never come back to Jamaica. It no matter what you want to say or what you want to do. Even with the American passport, your place of birth is still Jamaica. If this beautiful country go down, it's because, as Finley Smith said, and you have heard me say it on your program before, if Jamaica was a company and we were directors, we are the laziest set of directors. Last night, Chris Brown took how many $1 million from Jamaica? Chris Brown came here, and Chris Brown brought an entourage of women, some very sexy women, which tells me the bossy slave has not taken his overcoming with any great humility. Women are still being exploited for their sexual prowess, and not because they have a fabulous brain and have been the movers and shakers of this country. And people paid in excess of $1 million to be in the skybox. And you know, let me tell you something about Jamaican. When we're going to give to any charity, we question Luke George because we don't know Luke George. We question his integrity, whether or not he might do not for the poor and the dispossessed. And we talk about, oh, I'm not too like get to Jamaicans, you know, because them have hot hairstyle and them bleach out them skin.
They give to a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, they give to a multi-millionaire without that sort of same inhibition. But let's not forget that people don't have much. A man will put on a clocks, him likely forget a girl for talk to him because him have on a good pair of shoes. Because him have no education. And it might be bad like Princess Smith to create a few lines so him can gain their attention. But they give to a millionaire without thinking about it. And have the gall to tell me that you can't find 330 persons who can give $24,000 so we reach a target group. And possibly if we give more, we give more and we get more. And we put the children in the National Youth Corps and we teach them self-esteem, self-worth. We give them life skills. So by the time them reach some form of adulthood, we don't talk about unproductive people because we have inspired. And that's why I believe in that I can, you know. I can means for me, I can inspire, create, achieve, and I can nurture so that I become the best version of me. And, and we need to teach our people self-love. Chris Brown came to Jamaica. The stadium was packed. But yet, we would not have the same vim vitality to build a house for a woman in rural Westmoreland that our house is collapsing on her. We will not be so willing to buy books for our children, but rather tell them to go to their politician. And the politician said, have I not created enough workhouse? Have I, you know, like in poor tiny Tim. Hamba, the poor will always be with us. But if Jeffrey were really going to stem crime, because you see what again? Those who are at the top creates unbearable condition that a man I tell you, so the tactile style that is being used in Mandeville, it will be repeated through the length and breadth of Jamaica because we trained a group of young men and women who now are so frustrated with the system under the leadership of Ambassador of Plentiful, Ambassador Rocky Mead. We did not think of deploying them into the fire brigade and into the police force and so we send them back into the streets from which they came and think that they are not going to be destructive. Well, they are prepared to burn down Jamaica. And let me tell you something, Jeffrey, as the man said, they have nothing to lose because them tell themselves, we're dead already. So might as well we just do it and go out with a bang. Somebody, Jeffrey Tavares, will paint my picture on a wall, and I will be a reminder to all, if you want respect, you have to earn it when you have that gun in your hand. That is where the leadership has carried us in 61 years of post-independent. The Manleys must be reeling in their grave. Mr. Pattison, Mr. Bruce Golden, I'm sorry that Sister P is sick. You have failed Jamaica because of a lot of what is happening in Jamaica that is so undesirable. You need to come out and show what leadership is about, because you know, it is so true. The reason why evil is so pervasive, good men and women do absolutely nothing about it.
My God.
About it.
Look, we're going to wrap up any time now, but I'm gonna play this video to show that Jamaicans from all walks of life are getting fed up of the political system in our country. I'm not a fan of this gentleman, you know, but I listened to him. The Reverend Mark Stewart at a public meeting some time ago. And this is what he said.
You will see what the Lord is about to confuse them and to wholeness. Government, I got turned upside down. You want a politician, I got turned against him. Them I got tell him, say, he has lost credibility. Them I go war against him. Confusion, I go rise up against the Prime Minister. In cabinet, I will rise up against him. The battle is not ours. Without a win, the bigger than the people. God will act on our behalf. Judgment in a parliament. Judgment in government. And still I see the salvation of the Lord. The Egyptians, you see them, you see them. When God moves, He moves to kill. He is a killer. He no love evil. And when you sell your soul, you're destined to die and go to hell. You can't see it.
You see, there are so many Jamaicans that are fed up of this political system in this country, and they're taken to the airways. Look, George, wrapping up now. Say what you have to say, and we'll call it a night. Unmute your mic, Luke.
Look, I just said my parting word, but I'm glad you played back to it. I don't care who the messenger is. It is not that the Andrew Wallace MPs are going to turn on him. They are turning. They are infighting in the Jamaica Labour Party. They have managed to mitigate it coming out like the PMP to create the united force that they are. But more than the government, the Jamaican people have to take a stand for the interests of the country and stop thinking about themselves. Every time I hear somebody says, I'm not going to vote because I'm not getting anything from a politician, I cringe. And I remember one American president saying, don't ask what your country can do for you, but rather what you can do for your country. And we all come to labor plane and not airplane, and we all come from some little nook and cranny in Jamaica, and we all have the ability to do and to create and to nurture and to care and to achieve. So I invite you for Community Month. Let us come together in one of the biggest forum, Jamaicans. Let us pull that together, Jeffrey Tavares, where we look at 4 aspects of community development. We look at wealth creation for community. We look at leadership and accountability. And we look at what it is that we all can do and make a commitment to that. And that is not a commitment that we're going to talk about, but it's the commitment that we're going to push into action. I'm ready. I'm ready, Jeffrey Tavares. I'm ready to take the Metletalk Road in Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey and say, look here, I know you love your politics, but do you love your country? And if you love her, what are you prepared to give up for her? Certainly the young men in Mandeville love their pockets. And because they have a crave, where is the next strike? Are we going to come back to this show and talk about it? Or is it time to stand up for all right? So Bob Marley gives us the challenge. Old pirate, yes, the rabbi. Sold I to the merchant ship. Minutes after they took I and placed I into the bottomless pit. My head was made strong by the Almighty. We forward in this generation to sing triumphantly. And in that, he says, how many will they have to, how many more of the prophets, how many Tavares will they have to kill? How many Walter Rodney? How many Paul Bogle? How many more Sam Shaw before we all stand up and say, enough is enough? I'm not just prepared to speak, I'm prepared to act. I'm now going for good trouble. I don't care what you want to think about me. People's opinion of me these days is like water pound fall back. I go through too much suffering. You know what I said to the doctor the other day when they were medicating me? You don't need to medicate me. I have learned to bear my pain. I have learned to bear my pain so I can endure this because it hurts me when I go to the hospital and somebody asks me, Bridget, you can't give me $200 for buy a cup of tea because I don't eat from morning. So how the hell you going to take medication? What that? But you have a set of Bridget named Andrew Olness and Christopher Tufton and Mark Golding who don't understand that. But I will refuse to sit here and spend my time talking about these people. I have to get it. You know what I asked the CEO how we can set up a tea stand with even a cup of crackers. Because Jeffrey, me know what it is to be hungry. Me know in 2010 when me see them come against me, I remember me had 2 granny for take care of, and they were 79 and 90 at the time. And when them come against me, and one day my grandmother saw me wailing like Bob Marley and the Wailer, and she said to me, my son, remember your granny tell you this. You see the heart that you have, God is going to send even the raven to feed you. Fret not yourself of evildoers and workers of iniquity, because you serve a mighty God, and the righteous wind is blowing to your back. But suffer if you have to suffer, because when God is about to bring forth good food from a tree, it goes through what we call shit to be the thing that fertilizes that. So I tell you, Jeffrey, it won't be long when enough of us will be more than them, when enough of us will make that impact. And that's why I will not speak negative over Jamaica. She's a very broken country, but nonetheless, very promising. And I want to live long enough to see Jamaica become the country she ought to be. Good night, my brother. As I said, the trilateral and the bilateral agreements are not going to sign themselves. Yeah. So I have to make sure that I do my part in ensuring that the people of Jamaica are better served. Thanks again to Freedom from your program. Thanks to anybody else who wants to support. I have a flyer out on Facebook. Giving you information as to what we're doing. And I'm going to use that same platform every 3 months, Jeffrey, using the methodology of finding 330 or more people to donate. And we identify things that we can do in terms of social and development entrepreneurship so that more Jamaicans can be given help. Whether we're going to set up a tea stand in every hospital, whether we're gonna do a what you call a soup kitchen or a meal on wheels program where you don't have to worry about food, and we move it from community to community, using that as the catalyst to bring our people together. I am not a Labourite, I am not a PMP, I'm a Jamaican. And God knows I love this little rock of mine. And I said, make it shine, make it shine. And on my own alone, I feel it. So let us play our part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race and make Jamaica the country, the land where we can live, do business, and raise a family. It must happen. Our heart clean like Jesus police record.
And on that note, I must say thank you to Luke George Cook, Marie, Major Robert Francis Smith, and Colin Bell, Comrade Colin Bell rather, who came onto the program and met this program.
Eating chicken back.
Eating his chicken back and his roast breadfruit, of course.
That's taking my ear, making fool.
Yes. I want to say thanks to everyone. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Help me to get some more subscribers now. Send it all to your friends and family, that we can get some more subscribers, that we can speak about what is going on in the land of wood and water and throughout the Caribbean and indeed throughout the world, because we are a people and we are a God-blessed people. You know, Jamaica is the land that I love. I love my country more than anything else, and I will die for my country if I have to. But we need to stand up. We need to walk the walk and talk the talk. As what the late John Lewis said, get into some good trouble. We need to get
Jeffrey, you can imagine them hang the two away. And with the pan, we no fear, no fool. I will be in mansion 21 and you will be in mansion 22. We now get no silver virgin, but we're going to get enough milk and honey for a lifetime.
Because, you know something, Luke George? When you sit down and you see what is going on in Jamaica, and with a stand so back, and when you look at the people of Israel who stand up against Benjamin Netanyahu, the people of Syria who stand up against Assad, the people of China who stand up against the great Xi Jinping, why can't we in the Caribbean say to our political leaders, enough is enough, and stand up for what we believe in?
Yeah, but look here, I think the Chinese them have put something in our food, you know, because we're losing our passion for this country. We're losing our fight. And the truth of the matter, you know, Jeffrey, may I tell you the truth? The people them get so much beat up. What Bobby say, true. I wish there were more Bobbies. I wish there were more. You see your audience. I'm so sorry we don't get to interact with them because I don't get to see what they say in the chat, but sometimes I will glance at it.
You don't?
Huh? No, I don't necessarily. No, because I'm doing this on my phone. When I do it on the computer, it's easier for me to see. For me to see it. But the thing is that there is so much good out there, and there are so many good people doing so much good things. We must dedicate one night to highlight like people on your platforms that are doing some good things, because you see, don't feed our soul with the negative. Let us get some positive in there, because let me tell you something, kindness is like an infection. It will infect you when you see somebody doing something in their small corner to make the world great. Let's make the world great again. I like that tagline from my mugshot friend. He didn't get he didn't get Toots numbers, but Jamaica would not be where it is had it not been for good people on your show who have been sending home their remittance, and the people that are here who have been working assiduously to raise the bar for their family. Take that. What is that? I am no Jeffrey. Mr. Cook for what? No, them not go on no Jamaican Prime Minister when they have chicken back for him dinner, man. And me no so eloquent and sophisticated. Them ask them worse than Sister P. Me can't put two words together the same for life. Thank you though. Thank you though. I might not be Prime Minister, but I could be permanent minister or permanent something of something else. But Jamaica have Jamaicans home and abroad have done exceptionally well to support the country, and that is why this country has not collapsed. They have not just support through purse, but through their sweat tears, they have given back to this country, and we need to continue that. But on the final note, and this is the final note, Jeffrey, I was in the supermarket the other day buying water, and there was a race of a Jamaican named Watts. I don't know what race it was. I was there, but because I wasn't really feeling 100%, I never paid it mind. But you know what I saw in that supermarket? That it moved me. Everybody, you could rob the supermarket. Everybody was up the front, glued to one 40 screen TV, cheering on Watts in that race, wanting Jamaica to win. And it tells me, at that moment, nobody cared who was Labour Right or PMP. The people just want a win. They just want a win. And these despots would never allow Jamaica to win because they are all about enrich. Any government that could put a gag order on protecting criminal elements in their own political party is not a government that deserves to be in power. But let's see how much people are going to take the $5,000 and the $10,000 in the t-shirt and drink the white rum and name the curry goat and put us back into Potiphar's house. But sometime we have to learn that being in Potiphar's house is the preparation that you and I, Jeffrey, need in order for us to take up our place in the palace. So I'm glad I'm seeing what is happening. I'm just hoping that my brothers and sisters, home and abroad, will have the tenacity and the courage to call evil evil and place back good at the center of this nation. We say we're a Christian country. I don't think so. We have Christian belief. We have Christian belief because we would be God's worst representative because he doesn't tolerate injustice. The threat of justice anywhere is the threat of justice everywhere. On that note, good night, because I'm going to be the young lady here just give me the gag order. I must say one more word and just get back to her.
All right, Luke. Thank you so much.
All right, Jeffrey Tavares.
Thank you.
My
good friend Luke George Cook there for coming on the program this evening. I'm going to end with a word from the same Reverend Mark Stewart.
A plaza make, and you want a shop on the plaza, it's in US dollar.
My God.
Rich. Everything are run by China. Road are run by China. Government are run by America. Can I preach? Can I preach? Native citizen, we can't own nothing down here. Can I preach? Chinese are take over. I feel my belly. Somebody say, whoa. We need deliverance. We need the blood. We need Jesus. We need help. Can I preach?
I got arrested a few times. During the 60s, I went to jail 40 times. Since I've been in Congress, I've been arrested another 5 times. And I'm probably going to get arrested again for something. I'm not suggesting that any of you should go out and get arrested. But when you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, stand up and say something. Do something. I gave a little blood on that bridge in Selma 53 years ago. I almost died. Some of my friends and colleagues were murdered in Mississippi and other places. I'm not asking any of you to give any blood. I'm just asking you to go and vote like you never voted before. We have to vote. The vote is the most powerful nonviolent instrument or tool we have in a democratic society, and we must use it. Use it. Go out and vote. Let's go out and vote.
People's National Party is ready to make sure that young people in this country see real change. We are ready to not just give you hype and claps and all kind of foolishness. We are ready to meet with you. We are ready to walk with you. We are ready to work with you so that you can see a Jamaica where you feel good to live, raise your families, work, and the business. We're not stopping because we know that time is here. Young people, we're fed up and we want better in this country. Time come. We're giving you a warning, Prime Minister. We're ready and we're not back down. PNP strong. We're ready. Time come.
This is where I say good night from the Make We Talk program. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Give me some. I need some more subscribers. Please get me some more subscribers, I beg of you. Remember to like, share, and subscribe until you hear my voice again. Talking for the poor class of my fellow Jamaicans and the poor class of my fellow Caribbean nationals. May God bless you. May God bless Jamaica land we love. And may God bless the people of the Caribbean. Have a good night, everyone.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk.